Hello from Spartan Stadium, live for a massive Big Ten rivalry matchup. Live from Ann Arbor, I'm Vihaan Easwar. Live from Ann Arbor, welcome back to Spartan Stadium. Here, now No, we're on the hotspot. It's live. It should be live.
Hi folks, we're here in East Lansing right now. Okay, I think we're good. I can hear it now.
Live from Ann Arbor, welcome back to Spartan Stadium.
Lansing,
here.
Live from East Lansing.
Sorry. We've had a very chaotic pre-broadcast involving a dead cell phone on my end, a couple of other mishaps, but fortunately we're here. We're bringing you Big Ten football, a massive rivalry clash here from East Lansing. It's Michigan and Michigan State in the battle for Paul Bunyan. I'm Vihaan Easwar, your first half play-by-play. He's Keale Chang.
Yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties, folks, but we're here. We're in East Lansing. The vibes are great. This is a sold-out stadium here tonight. Don't worry, you haven't missed anything. We have 12 minutes, I believe, until kickoff. But we are here, and super excited to get the game covered for you guys tonight.
So, Keale, obviously Michigan, kind of a season with mixed expectations coming off a disappointing 2024 season that ended on the high of back-to-back wins in the game in the ReliaQuest Bowl.
Yeah.
Now coming into a season where a lot of people thought this Michigan team should be significantly better, should be a real threat to maybe make it all the way to the college football playoff. And through a few weeks, they've both looked like they've played up and played down to that goal, but they are 5-2 coming off a get-right win over a solid Washington team, and now have their eternal rival right here in East Lansing. So just give us your thoughts. What do you think are the keys to the game for Michigan?
I think the Wolverines have played, they've played about as well as realistic expectations, I feel like, for them were. Obviously, we knew that Oklahoma team was going to be a really good team. Early test on the road, freshman quarterback, second ever game. That USC team has also looked really good. So I don't think Michigan's losses to those two teams kind of define their season. They still have, they control their own destiny here. Win out, obviously they'll be in the college football playoff. So I think there's a lot of optimism for this team. I still think they have a lot of room to grow. I think Bryce Underwood, Andrew Marsh, that duo has really come alive last week against Washington. And I'm excited. This should be a good game. Obviously, Michigan, I think, coming in favored by around 14 points on the spread. Michigan, the Wolverines, I should say, are the favorite here. But, anything could happen in a rivalry game. Michigan State, obviously, started off 3-0, lost their last 4 in conference play. So they're looking to get right. They could. I think if the key to this game for them is to come out aggressive. If the Wolverines get the lead, I think it's going to be tough for them to come back.
Yeah, and this Michigan State team has had some pretty serious difficulty defending the run so far in this young season. I believe allowing 4.2 yards per carry and 11 rushing touchdowns in total, both of which rank in the bottom 5 of the conference. And Michigan gets back Justice Haynes after an injury took him out of the conversation against USC and Washington.
Yeah,
so
he's coming into this game questionable, but we do expect him to play tonight.
And factoring in Justice Haynes, factoring in Jordan Marshall's strong play last week, and factoring in Underwood's use of his legs and the more design runs that we're seeing from him in Michigan's offense, what do you think we can expect in terms of Michigan on the ground tonight? Do you think it's going to be funneling the ball through Marshall again, or?
All right, guys, we're back. Hopefully you could hear that over the mic, but we paused there for a moment for the national anthem. We've got some fireworks here in East Lansing. I think the crowd's feeling very excited for this game. But yeah, going back to your point, Vihaan, I think, to be honest, Michigan State, not only do they have some trouble defending the run, but they also have been very inconsistent in their secondary. They rank 128th out of 134 D1 teams in passing efficiency defense. So I think Michigan, the Wolverines, have multiple avenues in which they could kind of control this game. I think if I'm the Wolverines, I do want to establish the ground game early. Obviously, if Justice Haynes is back out there, I want to get him going early in this game. But I also want to take some deep shots. I think the biggest way for the Wolverines to kind of avoid an upset here tonight is to not make it a close game. You know, we've seen Michigan have a lot of close games in the past year. We haven't come out super strong. The Wolverines haven't come out super strong in the first half of the game. So I think they really want to put their foot on the gas pedal early and get a lead, just to kind of, you know, extinguish any hope or optimism from the Spartans tonight. I think if I'm there, I'm putting Andrew Marsh on a go route early in the game just to kind of get the momentum flowing in the Wolverines' direction. But the Spartans, I mean, they have had a lot of troubles on defense, but they've had some bright moments on offense. You see Childs is obviously a very talented quarterback. So what do you think is the keys for the Michigan State team in this game?
Yeah, I think for Michigan State, I think one area where Michigan has struggled a little bit on defense is giving up those third and longs. And I think as a fan of the New York Giants, where we have seen some similar issues, this is a bit of an inconsistency with the Wink Martindale defense, where they are weaker on defending second and third and longs, but will get those stops on short yardage where you need to. And Aiden Childs is obviously an athletic QB. He's a playmaker. He can stretch those legs. If Michigan State wants to break a hole in this game open, I think Childs using his legs to maybe scramble and get, you know, some of those 6-7 yards that this Michigan team could sometimes let up on a second or third down, I think that could be the key to keeping this a competitive one for the Spartans.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Both quarterbacks having these dual threat, both teams having such dual threat quarterbacks makes it a very interesting game. I mean, having to game plan around not only defending, obviously both very capable passers, but defending them on the ground is going to be a key point in this game. I think Childs has some pretty good receivers. I think we got Marshes on both sides of the game tonight. That should be exciting. We got number 6 for the Spartans. He's been pretty good. He's started really hot this season. Leads this team in touchdowns. So I see Childs looking to him a lot tonight.
Absolutely. And on the other end, you've got his brother, Andrew Marsh, who, as we said, kind of really started to break out and emerge as Bryce's number 1, number 2 option last week. It's between Dalvin McCulley and Andrew Marsh for who's going to really take over and receive the lion's share of targets for the remainder of the season. But Marsh came in strong with a breakout game last week against Washington. As you are going to get the run out to a raucous fireworks display here from Spartan Stadium as the Michigan State Spartans have taken the field. I know, a lot of people listening to this, you obviously have your allegiance to the Wolverines. You wouldn't be here on WCBN Sports if you weren't, but I do know there's plenty of you who probably have a significant other, a sibling, a child, a parent who went to Michigan State, and as a result, maybe have some divided loyalties, maybe even, grew up being a fan of the Spartans yourselves. Maybe even some of you are here today wearing half and half Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet jerseys. A little shout out for Callie, our resident Seahawks fan.
I've seen a lot of mixed parties today. I've seen a lot of mixed attire today. So it's definitely, obviously, being the two biggest in-state schools, this is a very historic rivalry. Lots of emotions today, lots of feelings. We saw some people in the crowd getting a little feisty earlier, but yeah, honestly, the atmosphere here, I feel like there's a pretty good amount of Wolverines fans in this stadium. I would say maybe like a 40-60 split, 30-60 split, not including the student section. So, I mean, the Wolverines have showed up today here in East Lansing. And obviously, as they should. What a historic rivalry. This goes back to, I believe, 1898. If you guys want some quick stats on the rivalry, Michigan Wolverines have won the last 3 matchups. The last win for the Spartans was in 2021 here in East Lansing, and that has been the longest winning streak for the Wolverines since 2007. So it's been almost 2 decades since the Wolverines have had this long of a stretch over the Spartans. So obviously Spartans looking here to snap that streak and get a win, get the Paul Bunyan trophy back here in East Lansing tonight.
And in recent years, we've seen this rivalry take on some pretty distinct phases. Early on, when it was Jim Harbaugh versus Mark D'Antonio, a little bit more competitive on the Spartans' end than some people might think. Definitely won some of those bigger games, notably, in the mid-2010s when Michigan was still kind of cleaning itself up after the Brady Hoke years, and the Spartans, sent a team to college football playoff in 2014 before even the Wolverines did. And as of now, when it was Harbaugh versus Mel Tucker, you started to see the pendulum swing a little bit back in Michigan's direction, but not before the Spartans upset the Wolverines right here in 2021 in a game that has best been known as the Kenneth Walker Legacy game. And now in recent years, with Michigan having taken each of the last 3 contests and looking to make it 4.
Yeah. I mean, all time, the Wolverines lead this series 74-38. Obviously, like I said, Spartans on a 3-game losing streak, but this Wolverines team has, like you said, has lost to good and even average Michigan State teams. I feel like they haven't really lost to bad Michigan State teams very often, but I mean, anything can happen in this rivalry, and we know that.
Yeah, and we have the captains lined up on the field, making their decisions in the toss. As we'll have you all night tonight. We will not be interrupting, seeing as we know this is FM. If you are tuning in from FM, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you here. We will be talking all night long, at least until the game ends.
Yeah,
so
you can't get rid of us.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Maybe get yourself a hot cocoa, get yourself a beer, get yourself something to warm you up, because it's going to be a long one, and it's going to be a good one. Keale, as you said, college football is unpredictable, and especially rivalry games.
Yeah.
Last biggest example of this, Michigan's famous win over Ohio State just last season, one of the weaker Michigan teams we've seen in recent years, versus an Ohio State team that was favored to win the national title and go on to win the national title. Michigan pulled off that inexplicable 13-10 victory. So the Wolverines are favored tonight, will likely take home the victory, but truly anything can happen.
Yeah, surely. I know, at least for Wolverines fans, that Ohio State game was one of the upsets of all time.
I don't think I have words to describe quite what I was feeling. I think joy, yes, but I think more so profound confusion.
Yeah, I mean, Big Ten matchups, I think just for this entire conference, it's always, we have a lot of good games, I think, in the Big Ten, and that was just another example of, never underestimate any opponent. And I think Sean Moore said this earlier this week, we don't care about the betting lines, we don't care if we're favorites, we're not going to underestimate this team, so hopefully the Wolverines are prepared tonight, because you never know what could happen.
Absolutely, yes. As Michigan is going to be the kicking team, which means they will receive the ball to start off the second half. For the first half, it is going to be the Michigan State Spartans that open things up as the cheers get raucous, and we are soon to be underway.
Yeah, obviously this has pretty big implications for Michigan if the Wolverines want a chance at winning the Big Ten Conference. This game, big implications here.
As Beckham Sunderland kicks us off for the Wolverines right here from Spartan Stadium, as the Spartans are going to let that bounce in the end zone, and they're going to elect to defer it for the touchback, as the Michigan State Spartans will start things off in the first quarter from the 25-yard line.
Yes, here we go, games. We got a game here tonight. So if you're Michigan State, what do you like? What's your go-to play here to start off the game? A run with Fraser, or?
Well, I think this Michigan defense under Wink Martindale they've been slow starters both in terms of their season and in terms of games. I think if you're going to get, a quick gain like you did in the Washington game, maybe now's the time to sort of see what your passing game can do, especially with a weakness left exposed in Rod Moore, who's been missing for much of the season with injury, as you have Aiden Childs lining up in the backfield in shotgun, as Childs looked like he was going to fake the handoff, but he's going to make the completion as the Wolverines are going to put that back, stop that for just 3 yards as Michigan State is going down to second down. And
yeah, I mean, Childs to the outside. I like what they did there. It's actually a 9-yard gain. I think that's a good way for them to start off the game. Something quick, something simple. Throw it, get a quick throw to McCray, kind of just get Childs settled here. Yeah,
that was to wide receiver Krishan McCray for 8 yards, caught at the 23-yard line as next play is going to be a handoff to Mekhi Frazier, and he's going to get one going, as that is going to be called just shy of the 40-yard line, as that's going to be a.
Yeah.
My apologies, as we are quite.
Sorry. The last play, incomplete pass, but Childs pressured there, lots of pressure, rolled out to the left, couldn't find this guy.
Childs lining up in an empty backfield. Childs, he's going to keep that himself. He's going to take it. We saw a gain, and it is broken apart and fumbled by Childs to be recovered by the Wolverines, as we have an early, big defensive play early in this first quarter here from Spartan Stadium.
That's the kind of play that will define this game, Vihaan. I mean, you get a pretty good play, gain on first down, pick up 8-9 yards, nothing on second down. First third down of the game, and the Wolverines Childs holds on to the ball and tries to run it in himself up the middle. Actually, he goes out to the side, and fumble recovered by the Wolverines. Wow.
Yeah, and the fumble is forced by Brandon Hillman, defensive back, and recovered by linebacker Jimmy Rolder at MSU's 34-yard line. So Michigan with a chance to start this quarter right off on their first drive a little earlier than expected, about 14 seconds in. Michigan 1st and 10, ball at the MSU 34-yard line.
1 minute into this game, and we already have a turnover. Michigan's going to take the ball here.
As Bryce Underwood is going to start things off, lining up in an empty backfield. Snap to Underwood, which is caught and incomplete by Donovan McCulley. Who had a hand to it there, but then just couldn't quite get his hands to it. That's going to bring up second down for Michigan.
Just to note, Justice Haynes was questionable coming into this game, but we do see him out here right now in the backfield with Bryce. So that's a big win for the Wolverines. Obviously, dynamic playmaker. Both him and Jordan Marshall, a big part of this game.
No, apologies. That was actually a 9-yard gain to bring up 2nd and 1 for the Wolverines, and he's going to hand that off to Justice Haynes for what looks to be a 1-yard gain.
Yeah, I think they picked it up there.
Yeah. This will come down to the spot, but that looks like the spot will be favorable to the Wolverines. That's going to be 1st and 10 Michigan, pick up by Justice Haynes with a running clock about 13 minutes, 20 seconds into the first quarter.
Yep, 1st and 10 for the Wolverines on the MSU 23-yard line. So the Wolverines almost in the red zone already here in this game.
As Underwood lining up with two running backs on this play, that's 2 men in the backfield, as Haynes is going to go up the middle, and that is going to be stuffed for what looks like, 3-yard gain from our vantage point. It looked like 2-3 yards. That's bringing up 2nd and 7 for Michigan. About 12 minutes, 50 seconds in the first.
Yeah, interesting. I think there was Samaj Morgan in the backfield.
Yes,
trying to do some trickery there, but they just run it up with Haynes up the middle for nice little gains. Get this one going.
Underwood lining up in shotgun with Haynes. As snap to Underwood, who makes the completion to McCulley, which is going to be to Andrew Marsh, which is going to be batted down right there at the 20-yard line for a gain of about 2-3 yards. That's okay. 5 yards. So a little bit more than we expected from here. That's going to bring up 3rd and 2 Michigan. Ball on MSU's 15-yard line as we look to have a man down, as that is going to be Michigan State's number 5 on defense, who is inside linebacker Jordan Hall. So we hope he's okay as we move to our first injury time out of the game.
We hope that he's okay. That would be a big loss for the Spartans.
Yes.
He's been an amazing, phenomenal player this year. First 3rd down of the game for the Wolverines.
As we are getting an early Jared Goff chant here from Spartan Stadium, and that chant has gripped the state of Michigan since the Detroit Lions' near mythical resurgence a few seasons ago under Goff, the castaway former first overall pick from the Los Angeles Rams, who has now turned the Lions into what look to be perennial Super Bowl contenders. It's a state that's it's a chant that unifies both fandoms. It unifies all the sports fandoms across Detroit, and you just love to see it. You just love to see sports bring together, and what brings people together quite like Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Or Lion Gosling, as some members of the Lions faithful like to refer to him as.
Yeah. But, yeah, going back, I mean, we obviously hope Jordan Hall is okay. He's been their lead tackler this year. He leads the Spartans team in tackles at linebacker. So praying for – is that – wait, did they bring him off the field?
Yeah, as it looks like Marshall is, or no, our apologies. That did not look like Marshall. That looked like number 55 for the Spartans, defensive tackle Ben Roberts.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry for the misunderstanding there.
We're very far from the field up here.
Yes, and we're grateful to have this view. We're grateful to have any view.
Yes. But yeah, for the Wolverines, I was going to say not great on 3rd down so far this year. They have, it's actually one area where the Wolverines lead in pretty much most statistics over the Spartans, but 3rd down conversion rate is pretty close. The Wolverines have about a 40% conversion rate, Spartans sitting at a 39% conversion rate. Michigan also, the Wolverines also really bad on 4th down this year, 1 for 9, which is about 11%. The Spartans have over a 50% conversion rate on 4th down. So we'll see how the Wolverines decide to pick up this 1st down here. We're 3rd and 2 at the 15-yard line. Both teams coming back out on the field. We got 12 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first quarter.
Yes, and as we bring you back to the Wolverines offense out in the field for this 3rd and 2, it looks like with 12 minutes, 20 seconds left in the first quarter, about Michigan State's 15, as it is going to be Underwood and Justice Haynes in the backfield with McCulley, Marsh, and Max Bredesen, fullback, looking to be our eligible receivers. As well, alongside tight end Marlon Klein, who just now motioned to the right side of the offensive line, as Underwood is going to hand it off to Marsh, to Justice Haynes, who's going to go down the middle, and he's going to get stopped, but not before he gets at least a yard, as this is going to bring up 4th and 1 for the Wolverines, as Sharon Moore and offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey's decision-making is going to be put to the test early on.
I think they're going to go for this, and I really hope they pick it up. Obviously, if you guys watched the Washington game last week, Wolverine not great on 4th down, but the team offense is staying out there right now.
As once again, we're going to see the Wolverines line up in shotgun, Underwood and Haynes in the backfield, as Bredesen motions, and that's going to be another handoff to Justice Haynes, and he's going to drive right down the middle, and he's going to get the yard and more, and that's going to bring up first and 10 for the Wolverines as they continue to drive into Michigan State territory.
Yeah, it looks like Haynes just jumped over a few guys there.
Yeah.
Big gain. I think he picked up about more than that. He picked up a lot of yards. We're here on the 6-yard line now.
As Underwood handoff to Haynes, as he's going to once again up the middle. Got maybe about half a yard there.
Yeah.
That's going to bring up about 2nd and 9. I'd say.
Yeah.
Oh, 2nd and 7. Okay, wow. So what we're seeing a trend here is that a lot of these spots are a little bit more favorable to the offenses than there are from our vantage point.
Yeah, sorry. We're like in the back corner, not facing the offense here, but big pick. I mean, 3 yards. Wait, 2nd and 3. Oh, because we're on the 3-yard line.
As it is going to be Underwood and Haynes in the backfield again. Underwood takes the snap himself. Underwood's going to keep it. Is he going to keep it? No. Is he going to look for a receiver? Underwood looks for Marlon Klein, and that is going to go well overhead. Just couldn't get that read off in time. That's going to bring up 3rd and 3 for Michigan. About 10 minutes into the first quarter, ball on Michigan State's 3-yard line.
Yeah, that was good pressure from Spartans there, not letting Underwood run towards his left and pick up any yards himself. He had about 3 Spartans defenders there at the end swarming on him. Decides to throw it to the back of the end zone. Could not find this guy.
As that's going to bring up 3rd and 3 for Michigan. As Underwood gets a snap. Underwood looking for a receiver. Underwood going to keep it. Underwood in the end zone. Underwood looking for McCulley. He's going to overthrow him, and that's going to bring up 4th and 3 for Michigan. 10 minutes into the first quarter, as we're going to see the special teams unit come on the field, and it looks like Dominic Zavada, last season, arguably snubbed from a nomination for the Lou Groza Award for Best Kicker in the Nation. Not quite as automatic this season as you would have expected, but still very, very dangerous with his legs, as he's going to get his first attempt of the game to put the Wolverines up and give them the first score of the game. And Zavada lining up. And the kick is good. And that is going to be 3-0 Michigan, as their first drive of the quarter ends with a lead.
Yeah.
And maybe you could have expected a little bit more, considering the great field position provided by Hillman and Rolder and the rest of the Wolverines defense. But you really can't complain about a scoring drive on your first offensive drive of the game. Michigan leads 3-0 about 10 minutes into the first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Wolverines fans, obviously when you get the ball on the 34-yard line after a big turnover like that, you'd expect to put up 7 points. But, I mean, credit to the Spartans defense. Nash, I think cornerback Nash Dontavius was the one that pressured Bryce Underwood on that last 3rd down, able to keep them out of the end zone. Wolverines haven't been, I would say they haven't been great this year at converting in the end zone, but yeah, missed opportunity there for them. I mean, coming out, forcing that turnover, and then scoring a touchdown on the following drive would be a big momentum. Just like, it would be really hard for the Spartans to come back after that kind of first drive for the Wolverines. But, I mean, I think as a Spartan fan, I mean, all you can hope for there is holding them to 3, which they do. So, good job on the defense there.
As the Spartans are going to get another turn on offense here, as Aiden Child is going to have a chance to drive Michigan State up the field yet again after a first drive cut short by an incompletion and then a forced fumble on the one completed catch of the game. On his completed pass of the game. Second completed pass, our apologies. His first pass went for 9 yards.
Yeah, I mean, it was just pressuring Underwood. I mean, he went 2 for 2 on his first 2 passes and then 0 for 2 on the next 2 after that. And we saw Haynes only picked up a few yards on that drive. So, I mean, absolute killer not being able to punch it into the end zone there when you got all the way up to the 3-yard line. Welcome back to Spartan Stadium. If you're just tuning in, Michigan's up 3-0. 10 minutes in the first quarter after Dominic Zavada field goal puts the Wolverines on the board, building off a forced fumble by Brandon Hillman that was recovered by Jimmy Rolder. And, yeah, happy to have you all in as Spartan Stadium. As we talked about pregame, it's packed. The energy is fantastic. This is just great play. If you consider yourself a football fan, just owe it to yourself to go to at least one big college football rivalry game in your lifetime. And this is surely not a bad pick. Obviously, this rivalry has seen maybe more competitive years where both teams were playing at a slightly higher standard. Yeah.
But still, so much energy, so much emotion on both sides as Braden Sunderland prepares to kick off yet again for the Wolverines.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great day to be Saturday night here in East Lansing. I think we're a little biased, but...
Sorry, Beckham Sunderland.
I think we both are big fans of Big Ten football, so we're happy to be here for this conference matchup between these two historic teams. Already had that turnover, like you mentioned, on the first drive for the Spartans. So on this second drive, Spartans looking to get something going on offense.
As Sunderland's kick is going to go bounce yet again into the end zone for a touchback that is going to put Michigan State on their own 25-yard line.
Yeah, So coming out for the Spartans on offense, I think it's safe to say that the Wolverines are the toughest defense the Spartans have faced so far this year. Obviously, USC, very good team, but defense-wise, I think the Wolverines are the strongest test, at least so far, of the season for them. So it's going to be interesting to see how they choose to attack that. We haven't seen any rushes. Well, I mean, we only had a few plays for the Spartans in that first drive, but we'll see a rush here.
This is going to be Aiden Childs lining up alongside Mackay Frazier in the backfield. As Childs is going to hand that off to Frazier. Frazier's going to run that up the middle for what looks like a pretty solid 5-6 yard gain for the Spartans. That is going to be 2nd and 8. As yet again, the eyes can be deceiving.
It's okay. We'll make sure to correct you guys as we see it on the scoreboard. But yeah, I mean, if I'm the Spartans here, trying to establish that run game early. Obviously, this Michigan defense has been very good against the run, but if the Spartans are going to have a chance here, they need to do that early.
As we're going to have, it looked as though Frazier was going to line up in the backfield, but instead we're going to have Childs in an empty backfield here, as the snap gets off to Childs, as that is going to be incomplete, as he looked to be targeting number 6, Nick Marsh, brother of Andrew Marsh, but it looks as though the Wolverines might have gotten a hand to that, as that is going to bring up 3rd and 8 for the Spartans.
Yeah, I mean, not a great spot for the Spartans to be early in this game. Long 3rd down after that first drive. Really need to pick up a conversion here. Like I said, 3rd downs are going to be crucial for both teams. Both teams at or below 40% 3rd down rate on the year. So I think the Spartans try to hit Marsh again for the first down. I mean, he's been great so far this year. See if they can get the ball to him.
As Spartans lining up in shotgun. As snap to Childs. Is Childs looking for a read? Childs, he's going to find one. He's going to get a big completion to Omari Kelly, wide receiver. That's going to be a big first down there. That's going to put them just about the 50-yard line, although no. In fact, that is going to be called as an incompletion, as it looked like Kelly might have just about stepped out of bounds. As that is going to bring up a big 4th and 8 call, and the Wolverines fans, who are right below us, they love that call.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Wolverine fan, you're super happy with that call. I think it's close.
That is close. So
that is a close call. I think
Kelly very clearly got both hands to it before he went out of bounds.
Spartans fans want them to challenge this year.
As a Spartans fan, get on the scoreboard getting quite explicit, as that is going to bring out Michigan State's punt team.
We have a flag.
We have a challenge. We have a flag thrown out there.
There's a delay of game. Okay.
And that delay of game penalty is going to back the Spartans up from 4th and 8 to probably around 4th and 13, which I think in some ways kind of works in Michigan State's favor, and it gives you a bit of a longer field for a punt.
Yeah, so they'll be punting from about the 15-ish yard line, or I believe. Wow, what a killer drive for the Spartans. I mean, I thought they picked up that on 3rd down. Looked like to me it was a catch, but that was okay. So we have another flag.
We have another flag there, as Wolverines are going to use that opportunity to hype up the Michigan fans here in the stands. And as we said, there's a lot of them.
There are a lot of Wolverines fans here right now that are loving the start to this game so far.
As the Spartans are going to take yet another, I think that is yet another delay of game penalty that is now going to back them up. A false start, actually. That is going to back them up to 4th and 18.
I mean, not really a massive deal, but they could be potentially giving the Wolverines some good field position here if this isn't a big kick. We'll see where this lands. Oh my God, that's not a great
punt is going to go right to Samaj Morgan, giving him pretty decent field position. Morgan's going to take that to a side, and Morgan's going to get stopped up by the 30-yard line, as that is going to be yet another disappointing punt return for Morgan, who's sort of experienced some of his own struggles on that side of the ball, in addition to some of his drops on offense, as Michigan is going to start this drive failing to capitalize on what could have been good field position from a punt, and is going to instead start off at their own 30-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan offense wasn't able to capitalize, but this Michigan defense so far, I mean, what a great job. A fumble and then a 3-and-out, putting the offense back out there on the field, giving them another shot to get something going here in East Lansing.
As Underwood is going to line up in, I believe, the I with Haynes there. He's going to fake the handoff to Haynes. Underwood looking for Andrew Marsh. That is going to be a big first down to Andrew Marsh. It's going to put Michigan at about, I'd say, the 44-yard, Michigan State's 44-yard line.
Like, no one on Marsh, wide open. Has to kind of turn his body back around, catch the ball, falls down. But what a big play.
Michigan getting out there as Underwood is going to fake another handoff, and that is going to go looking for a deep pass to Andrew McCulley that just about overthrows him.
Yeah, wow. Wolverine coming out hot on this drive. 22-yard pass to Andrew Marsh.
And there I think we're starting to see a bit of, the play action that I think a lot of people want to see in this offense, some fake handoff, some plays that kind of...
fans have been waiting for this. Brings them, their ball is on the 46 now.
As Underwood lining up in a lone backfield, so I think we can expect yet another passing play here. He's going to motion Haynes to his left. Handoff to Haynes, who's going to go up the middle and gets, solid gain on there. Moving the chains little bit by little bit, just 2 yards.
Yeah.
That is going to bring up 3rd and 8 for the Wolverines about 8 minutes into the first quarter.
Wolverines already at midfield. These Spartans fans are getting loud here on a crucial 3rd down, I think. If Michigan is able to get another score here, it's going to put them in a pretty big hole early in this game. So Spartans fans trying to make it hard for Underwood here.
As Underwood drops back, rolls out to his right. He goes down and still manages to make the pass, and that is going to go through the hands of McCulley, almost intercepted by the Michigan State secondary.
Yeah, I was Wolverines fans lost their breath for a moment. Could have been picked. Great job pressuring Underwood and great coverage as well. Kind of just chucks one down to McCulley in the middle of 3 defenders.
And that is going to bring up Hudson Hollenbeck and the rest of the punt team. 4th and 8 for the Wolverines, about 7 minutes, 47 seconds into the first quarter with the ball at Michigan State's 44 as yet again Michigan fails to capitalize on some great plays in good field position and is going to have to settle with a field goal and a punt.
Yeah.
As Hollenbeck's punt is going to go, again, it's going to bounce right into that end zone. That's going to that is actually going to pin them right at their own 5-yard line. That's a really solid punt from Hollenbeck.
Solid punt.
And this Michigan team, last season, punter Tommy Doman experienced some struggles on that side of the ball.
So, yes.
But now Hollenbeck has so far done a serviceable role for the Wolverines.
He's had some good punts so far, yes.
As Michigan special teams, while still working out some kinks, but still shown a fair bit of improvement from last season.
Yeah, Zavada also, obviously not as consistent as he was last season. Last season, I don't think he missed a single kick besides one that was a blocked field goal. So he was outstanding last season, has had a little bit of trouble here so far this season, but Wolverines fans, I don't think they're worried. We know that Zavada is obviously super talented kicker. On that last drive, I think that was Jalen Thompson that got the hurry on Bryce Underwood, but this Michigan State defense has been getting a lot of pressure on Underwood, not making it easy for him, forcing him to make some quick throws. He tried to get that one out to McCulley, but the coverage was good. Yeah, so right now if you're just tuning in here, we're in East Lansing, Michigan State versus the Michigan Wolverines. It is a 3-0 game with 7 minutes and 40 seconds left in the first quarter. And so far, it's been mostly Wolverine football, obviously 3-0 for the Wolverines, but both teams, doing a pretty good job on defense. Wolverines got the fumble on the first drive, got the 3-and-out on the next drive. Spartans held them to a field goal after they got first great possession, and then have stopped them on that drive. Even after they got pretty good field position, they started at the 30, made it about midfield, weren't able to capitalize on that drive. So we're going to see Childs and the Spartan offense back out here in a little bit.
Yeah, as we're in our first media timeout with about a minute yet, so I'm going to flip to you, Callie, with a very important question. So on our drive up here, we had Culver's for lunch. And I think I'm with you when we agreed that was a fabulous experience. I got double butter burger with cheese, I got some cheese curds, and I got a chocolate custard with peanut butter and brownies. So in light of that, Keale, give me your top 3 fast food establishments.
Okay, this is a fun question.
And for those of you, I know there's a lot of you listening on FM, but for those of you who are our 22 concurrent viewers here on YouTube, I want you guys to get here in the chat. I want you guys to give me your top 3 favorite fast food establishments too.
Yeah. I think my first one I'm going to go with Raising Cane's. I know
that's a great shout. That is
I
fantastic
know there's a lot
shout.
of very passionate fans of Raising Cane's, and then there's some people that really don't like it. But I personally,
I'm in the first group.
Yeah, I think me and you can both agree Raising Cane's, great fast food establishment. I'm going to have to go with Taco Bell as well. I think you can also agree with that.
Absolutely.
It hits hard. We're playing soon. Last one, Chipotle.
As this is going to be as we have Childs and Frazier in the backfield lining up in shotgun. As Childs drops back, Childs looking for Nick Marsh, and that is going to be incomplete as great work from the Wolverines secondary to put on the pressure and make Marsh feel the heat.
Yeah. Like, as we said, both teams looking like it's a lot of defense so far tonight, which I think actually favors the Spartans in this game. I mean, if it's going to be a slow, low-scoring defensive game, then I think that really helps the Spartans to stay in this. As
we're going to get just some more shotgun out of the Spartans' backfield as Childs waits for the snap. Snap straight to Childs, who's going to drop back. He is looking for Marsh yet again, and that is well defended by the Wolverines secondary, and that is some great work from the veteran Jair Hill to sort of just step in, use his body, and just sort of make his presence really felt there.
Yeah, Jair Hill didn't even turn around for the ball, but he stayed right on top of Marsh that entire time. There's absolutely zero separation from Marsh. It would have been hard for him to get that ball from Childs there.
And that's going to bring up 3rd and 10 for the Spartans. Ball on their own 20-yard line. First quarter, 7 minutes, 32 seconds left.
Yeah.
As Childs and Frazier in the backfield. Drop back from Childs, rolling out to his right, looking for an open man, and he is not going to find one as the Wolverines, as yet again we get a play from this young secondary, I believe. Yet again, that was Jair Hill.
I think that was Jair Hill. Was that on Marsh again? I think that was also
he was looking, that was indeed looking for Marsh. That's going to bring up 4th and 10 for the Spartans. 7 minutes, 26 seconds left in the first quarter. Ball on Michigan State's 20-yard line.
Wow. So you see the Spartans come out here, 3 straight passes, 3 incomplete passes, all 3 of them to Nick Marsh. Obviously a great wide receiver. I think they have a good connection there, Childs and Marsh, but not able to connect on this drive. Good defense by the Wolverines.
As that punt is going to be, that's going to bounce right by the 40-yard line, and no one's going to touch that. So Michigan, on yet another weak punt, are going to have pretty solid field position just around their own 40, which that's going to be the 3rd straight drive that Michigan starts with either a short field or, a big play that clears up a chunk of yardage. But let's see if Michigan's offense can be a little bit more efficient than it has so far in this first quarter, which so far been moving a little slower than expected, I think.
Yeah. Spartans punt there takes a little bounce towards a Spartans bounce back for the pins the Wolverines a little further back, but still pretty good field position. We're starting at the 37 of the Wolverines here. I think that's Jordan Marshall in the backfield.
Yes, that is going to be Underwood lining up with Marshall in the backfield. Underwood, hand off to Marshall. Marshall finds the hole. Marshall's going to fight a little bit for it, and he's going to find a gain there as the Wolverines are just going to move the chains. That is going to be 2nd and 7, Michigan. First quarter, 7 minutes in, ball at their own 40-yard line.
Yeah, nice little 3-yard gain. It looks like Marshall kind of broke one tackle, ran up ahead. I mean, that's what he's known for. He's a big ground and pound kind of guy. Just get him running right up the middle.
As that is going to be Underwood and Marshall yet again in the backfield. Underwood initially up for the handoff, not going to go for it, as he's going to look for Donovan McCulley, who will not make the catch, but he's going to win a DPI in the process, using his physicality to sort of draw that contact, and that is going to be a big penalty for Michigan to help them move the chains.
Yeah, I mean, Wolverines fans here are loving that call. Pass interference moves the ball up. Obviously intended for McCulley. That was pretty good coverage, but just can't get that physical at the sideline there.
As Michigan now with a fresh set of downs here. 6 minutes, 40 seconds left in the first quarter. Ball at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, and that was Malcolm Bell with the pass interference penalty on him for the Spartans.
As Underwood was looking for the handoff to Justice Haynes. That is instead going to go to Shamaj Morgan on the end around. Morgan going to make it all the way up for the 40 for what looks to be a 5-yard gain, and that is going to bring up 2nd and 5 for the Wolverines. 2nd and 4 actually, as the Wolverines get just about 1 yard more than we expected. And I think that's a nice little bit of creativity there to sort of make use of a player who has maybe not had as many strong touches as you would have liked so far this season. It's a good 5-6 yard gain there on the end around to move the chains for the Wolverines. As that is yet again going to be Underwood and Haynes in the backfield. As Underwood is going to hand it off to Haynes. Haynes is going to run down the middle. Marshall's going to run down the middle. He's going to fight. And he's going to make it, at about the 32, 33-yard line, as Michigan being very methodic here on offense, as that is going to be a 4-yard pickup for maybe even more for a 1st and 10.
Yep, we got a 1st and 10 here. I think for the Wolverines, coming out kind of sputtering on offense, this is the right move for them. Kind of get it going. Don't do anything crazy. I really liked the deep passes on the last drive, but kind of go back to your bread and butter, what they've been doing so well this year, running it on the ground.
As Underwood going to hand off to Marshall, who's going to yet again fight through it, make that contact. He is not finding those open holes, but it doesn't matter if you can find holes or you can just make holes yourself, as he's going to fight for a 7-yard gain up to 2nd and 3 as Michigan driving into Spartan territory, ball at the 27, 5 minutes to go in this first quarter.
Yeah, I mean, Wolverines fans obviously super happy with their running back room. Justice Haynes out last week. Jordan Marshall had a great game, I think over 130 rushing yards, and he's here today.
As Underwood looked to fake the handoff, but is still going to roll out to his right, take it himself. Underwood looking for the deep pass, and he is going to overthrow it, but he's going to draw what looks to be yet another defensive pass interference. As
on
Michigan
Malcolm Bell again. I think, is that the same matchup? McCulley on Bell, and
this is going to bring Michigan with 15 more yards. It's going to put them probably at about Michigan State's 12.
Wow, yeah. I mean, Underwood, really no one to throw it to, throws it out of the back of the end zone. I don't even think there was really a shot that McCulley catches that, but Malcolm Bell gets another pass interference penalty while trying to cover McCulley.
As there is going to be no foul for pass interference, as that's going to get taken off the board, as I expect the ruling to be that the ball wasn't catchable. I think that was just slightly overthrown, and as a result, couldn't necessarily really qualify as a pass interference call, as Michigan still at 2nd and 3, still at the 27, still ball on Michigan State's 27-yard line. First quarter, 4 minutes, 44 seconds to go. As we are going to see Justice Haynes back in the backfield for the Wolverines. As Underwood, the snap, Underwood going to keep it himself. Underwood rolls out a little bit, finds an easy pass to Justice Haynes, who is going to take it all the way down to Michigan State's 10 for a big pickup there.
Wow. Underwood had 2 unblocked defenders coming at him, Isaac Smith and Malik Spencer. Gets the ball out quickly to Haynes and just runs it up right there for a big gain. That was putting Michigan, the Wolverines, at the 13-yard line, 1st and 10.
I think that's a good bit of improvisation from Underwood. Couldn't find a lane, couldn't find an open read. Just kind of goes almost a check down there and just trusts Haynes to do the rest of the work. As Michigan on Michigan State's 10-yard line, as that is going to be a handoff, but it's going to be a keeper from Underwood who's going to run into the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan!
What a great job by this Wolverines offense. Kind of not being able to get anything going in the first 2 drives, coming out this drive, going back to the run game. Obviously, they have such talented running backs. Like I said, Jordan Marshall with a bunch of big, hard runs early in this drive. And then they bring Justice Haynes in, and he's such a phenomenal back. Obviously, receiving back as well, able to take that dump off forward for a big gain, set up Underwood into the end zone, into the corner of the end zone. What a rush by Underwood. What a play.
As Dominic Zvada going to line up here for that extra point, and that is going to be good. And Michigan goes up 10-0 with about 4 minutes left in the first quarter.
Yeah, if you're a Wolverines fan, that's exactly what you wanted to see on this drive. Nice, methodical drive. Got the rushing game more involved. Made the passes in the past, but they've done a solid job so far this year. I think Michigan's, obviously their run defense has been their biggest strength on defense so far, but still a very good secondary. Still has forced a lot of turnovers this year. Funnily enough, not even our secondary. Cole Sullivan, linebacker, leads this team in interceptions for the Wolverines. But yeah, Childs so far, 1-7 tonight. Only completed 1 pass for 8 yards. And his rushing game hasn't really been able to get anything going either. Fraser only 1 attempt for 2 yards. And the only other attempt rushing was Childs himself for 1 yard. So I think if you're the Spartans, maybe try to establish the run game more on this drive. I mean, Fraser is a good running back. Obviously, this is a tough Michigan defense, but you kind of have to, if they're going to win this game, they have to give Childs some help, right? He's 1-7 right now. Secondary's been playing good. Try to test that Michigan defense, see if it can at least open things up for them in the passing game.
As we're not even seeing, a lot of action in terms of, design runs or RPOs in terms of being Childs. I think the Spartans are waiting to sort of settle into this game to sort of burst out some more creative plays in that toolbook. But as of right now, it's been, a lot of very simple like shotgun sets with just Fraser and Childs in the backfield, and Childs looking for that open receiver who ends up being Marsh or Amari Kelly.
I think the problem for this Spartans team is that the Wolverines think they can win with only 4 rushing up front and dropping 7 into the secondary. And if this is a team that's just going to pass, they're not going to be successful if Michigan is dropping back 7. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can get something going on the ground. Yeah, like you said, maybe get Childs more involved, draw some RPOs. Obviously has some talented wide receivers, but not being able to connect so far.
As Beckham Sunderland is going to take the kickoff, and he's going to, yet again, let that bounce in the end zone. Spartans are just going to take the touchback, take the free 25 yards.
Yep.
As this is going to give, yet again, the Spartans starting their 3rd straight offensive drive of the day with pretty much the same field position, taking the touchback, waiting to build something from deep, trying to be methodical. And so far, Michigan is saying, nope, no can do.
Yeah, we've seen the same situation play out. Let's see if they can get a different result on this drive, starting at their own 25.
As yet again, we're going to see Childs and Fraser in the backfield, motioning tight end Jake Velling as he's going to find Fraser for the handoff. Fraser going to try and kind of carve out a hole. He's going to do it for pretty solid game there. And that's going to move the chains for the Spartans.
6 yards.
That's going to put them at about the 40-yard, about their 30-yard line, and that is going to be 2nd and 5 for the Spartans. As running clock, about 3 minutes 30 seconds left in this first quarter. If you've been tuned in from the start, thank you for hanging around with us. Hope you've enjoyed your ride. If you're just tuning in, welcome aboard. Should be a great ride. As on 2nd and 5, that is going to be yet another handoff to Fraser, and that's going to be solid game, but it looks like we're going to see a flag in somewhere close to the line of scrimmage, so that could be, it's anyone's guess as to who that is, but our guess is going to be, I'd say an offensive hold.
I would say holding of some sort. It's probably on the offense.
That is going to be an offensive penalty. It is going to be hands to the face instead of holding, and that is going to take away the gain and back Michigan State back up to their own 30-yard line.
That's really rough for the Spartans.
Yes.
I mean, like I said, get this ground game going. They've tried to lean on that. Fraser, 2 good runs. I mean, almost got them the first down there, but now backed up all the way to 2nd and 20. Ball's going to be on their own 15-yard line. So now they have, a mile to go to get back to the first down. So
yeah, that is going to be a 15-yard penalty for illegal hands to the face.
Yeah, but it is only 2nd down. We'll see if they take a shot here. Now they're kind of forced to pass, but we'll see how this goes.
And that is going to be Childs and Fraser and shotgun in the backfield. Snap to Childs as Childs rolls out. And that is going to be a big sack from the Wolverines as Jimmy Rolder yet again continuing a stellar game by getting all the way to the QB. That is going to pin the Spartans even deeper into their own territory. That's going to be 3rd and 29. I don't think third and long quite begins to cut that. That's third and very, very long.
Third and a mile, yeah.
As
what
that
a great
is
job by Jimmy
going to end up
there.
with Michigan State being pinned at their own 6-yard line as a killing penalty and then a big sack on Childs takes away a lot of momentum on what could have been a solid drive. And Spartans going to hand off to Frazier, who's going to gets them up to the 15-yard line, gets, I'd say, 7-8 yards, but that's not going to be enough, and we're going to see the punt team coming out.
Yeah, on 3rd and 29, backed up, that's really your only option there is a safe run. I like that play. Just punt the ball away. That drive was over at that point. 4th and 22, we're coming to about 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Ball on Michigan State's 13. Michigan 10, Michigan State 0. Yeah. Obviously, that penalty was a killer, but then Michigan, the Wolverines, able to get pressure right up in Child's face. Wilder able to come down with the sack, pin them all the way back within their own 10-yard line. And obviously they have to run the ball there with Frazier, just try to get something back and punt it away back to the Wolverines. We do have a player down
for the Wolverines with an injury, which is hopefully not too serious. That's going to be on...
I can't see the number.
That is going to be a number 23, linebacker Cole Sullivan, one of the early breakout stars of the season for the Wolverines. So, and he's being helped off the field. That is if that is serious, then that is a devastating blow for the Wolverines.
Yeah, well, I didn't see that was Sullivan, but hopefully he's okay. Like you said, sophomore this year, but he's been putting up a great year so far. 2 sacks, 3 interceptions. Like I said earlier, leads this team in interceptions as a linebacker. Has been really impressive so far next to Hausman.
As with the running clock, you are not going to have Samaj Morgan returning punts for the Wolverines this time. We have a bit of a change here, as that is going to be, I believe it is going to be Andrew Marsh, as that is going to bounce onto Michigan's 40, kind of roll about to the 30, and that is going to be about where Michigan start things off. As yet again, Michigan, not being able to make some huge gains on the return side of things.
Yeah, Marsh elected not to return that one there. They'll get it about the 32-yard line. I think if you're the Wolverines, I don't think it's a big deal. Obviously, they've pinned the Spartans back each time, so they're still getting the ball at a pretty good field position here. Spartans, their special teams, hopefully on the next drive, is something that they're going to need if they want to get back in this game.
As Underwood and Haynes in the backfield, as Underwood is going to hand that off to Haynes, as Haynes is going to dance around there and get a solid gain that's going to put him at about the 35-yard line. That is going to be about, I'd say, a 3-4 gain for the Wolverines. That's going to be about 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7, 2nd and 5. So
nice
solid
run there for Haynes. Solid pickup.
As Underwood and Haynes in shotgun, as Underwood gets the snap on the second, as that is going to be yet another handoff to Haynes, as Haynes is going to fight his way to about the 40-yard line, but we see a penalty being thrown in the backfield, so that could be...
We'll see what that is. I think it was a holding.
That is going to be an offensive hold, which is big for the Spartans, who are loving it.
That would have been first down, or at least close for the Wolverines, but instead they're backed up to 2nd and 15 now.
Yeah. Big 10-yard penalty there. That would have, before Michigan would have had, a solid 4 or 5 yards, maybe overestimating that. Maybe it would have just been about 3, but that is going to back them up and put them at about 25-yard line as Michigan is on 2nd and 15. Clock has been running, so about 50 seconds left in this first quarter. Ball at the 27-yard line as Underwood with the drop back. Underwood was looking for McCulley, and that is going to be incomplete. Well defended by the Spartans secondary, as you're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, Wolverines now at 3rd and 15 after that stop, or after that incomplete pass, sorry. Spartans fans getting loud here. Big 3rd down for the Wolverines.
As Underwood and Haynes in the backfield, as Underwood gets the handoff to Haynes, and that's going to be yet another solid pickup there. That's going to take him to about the 30-yard line, or maybe a little further, the 30-yard line. I think closer to about the 32, 33. Yeah, that's going to be ball 32. That's going to be still not quite enough for the pickup, as we're going to see Michigan's punt team come back out. As we're seeing, kind of a sputtering quarter offensively for the Wolverines so far, punctuated, or with the exception, I should say, of that Bryce Underwood keeper for the touchdown.
Yeah. I think the Wolverines, that penalty really killed the drive. I think that was Greg Crippen with the holding center for the Wolverines.
That's a solid punt from Hollenbeck. That had the Spartans initially about the 15, as they're going to make something out of that. That's going to bring them out to 30, but no good for this quarter, as we are about 0 seconds left on the clock. End of the first quarter, Michigan up 10-0.
Yeah. I think the Spartans could have really used a big return there. Obviously, with the way this game's going, they had a lot of really good returns early in this season. Not so much as of late, but I think with how this game is going, it's going to take some big moments, some big play for the Spartans to get back into this. And that could come from special teams. That could come from Childs. We'll have to see what happens here for the Spartans when we get back in the second quarter.
Yeah, as we're about 3 minutes left in this media timeout in the first quarter.
Light show?
As we have about Michigan, just some of the team stats here. Michigan with 7 first downs to the Spartans 0, which kind of goes to show Michigan State's sort of inability to really get anything going in this quarter, as Michigan only 1 third down conversion, only 1 fourth down conversion, but that's Michigan going 1 for 5 on third downs. And I think this is a Michigan team that, as you said in the pregame, maybe hasn't been as effective on third down on offense as one would have liked.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest weakness for this Wolverines team has been third down conversions. This game, no different so far, hasn't gained on third down, but with how this, see, that's what I was trying to show you. We have a light show going on here in the Spartan Stadium. I don't have a great view. We don't have a great view of it from the press box up here, but looks like they have a drone show with, they're showing a Spartan helmet right now, which is pretty cool. If you've never been here in Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, great environment here right now. They got some great things going on.
I will say it is quite cold. It is quite cold up here, which is going to lead me into, and now we have a bit longer for this segment than we did in the first quarter. It's cold. I could use a hot beverage. So, Kelly, give me your top 3 hot beverages.
Okay. I'm not a coffee guy. I'll start off with that. So
I'm a big coffee guy.
Okay, so my hot beverage of choice when I go to a cafe is a hot chocolate. I love me a good hot cocoa. So that's one. I'm also not really a hot tea guy.
I'm not big on hot tea either. I'll take an iced tea.
Yeah, hot tea not really my thing. I'm not sure what other hot beverages there are. A soup not really a beverage per se, but I like me a good warm soup on a cold day. And
when I was in Iceland this past summer, I had a phenomenal bowl of lamb stew.
Oh, Iceland, that's very fun.
2 phenomenal bowls of lamb stew, which were both in great bread bowls.
Yeah.
Served with butter.
Oh, that sounds great.
It was great. I recommend.
We can get one of those after we finish here for the first half.
Yeah, I would love a nice bowl of lamb stew from this bar in Reykjavik, which is whose name I'm unfortunately forgetting at this moment.
I will say that the Big House, obviously, biggest stadium in America, really impressive stadium, but this light show, all of the graphics they have here is
Yeah.
very cool at Spartan Stadium. I wish we had some drone light shows and fireworks in the big house.
I will say Spartan Stadium here, they do know how to put on a show.
Yeah, they do know how to put on a show. Fun time here for the fans right now. I think for Spartans fans, I think energy is still high. Obviously, we're only just about to start the second quarter. Score 10-0. That is not a deficit that they can't get out of if they can start getting things going on offense.
As with about the second night, we're going to see the teams come back out on the field as we are switching sides now. We are much closer to Michigan State's view of the field, as Childs was going to snap that, and we have 2 penalties called, both of which are in the backfield, so expect maybe a false start or a holding call.
Oh, wow. That's going to be, I think, a false start on the Spartans, which just, I mean, you're at home. This is your home crowd. You just can't keep getting these penalties. These penalties are going to be just stacking up for the Spartans, and they're really not doing them any favors. I mean, now they're at 1st and 15. So far, they haven't, got much going offensively. Like I said, Childs 1 for 7 passing. Fraser on that last drive was starting to get going, but obviously the sacks ended the drive on Childs.
As ball is going to be snapped to Childs, as Childs gets a completion to Amari Kelly, finds about, I think, 5, 6, 7 yards there, but a bit short of the first down. That's going to take them to about Michigan State's 26, 27-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Spartans, you really just need any type of offense here on this first drive. Nice little pickup, only for 4 yards, though, to Kelly is what it's being marked as.
As Childs and Fraser in the backfield. As Childs hands off to Fraser. Fraser finds a hole. Fraser finds a big hole, and he's still going past the 40, past the 50, down Michigan State's 40, all the way deep into Michigan territory. As Mekhi Fraser is going to break off quite a few tackles, find a big hole, and get all the way to Michigan's 20-yard line for a huge gain.
I don't know about you, but I can feel some momentum shifting in this game after that play, at least in the stadium. Spartans fans obviously incredibly happy with that run. Yeah, Fraser just made a bunch of people miss. I mean, broke through the first layer, kept running, was faster than all the guys chasing him. Ernest Hausman able to finally get him down out of bounds.
As now you're going to see we saw a bit of trickery there, as that's going to end up with Childs. Childs is going to take it all the way down to the 20, just step right out of bounds for what looks like a big gain. Another, about just shy, not just shy of the first down, but about a 6-yard pickup, steps right out of bounds, as Michigan State driving down the field, sparked by Fraser's big run.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about getting this running game involved. Fraser before this only had about 10 yards on the game, and then he picks up a 49-yard rush to get them all the way to the UM 25, and now they're here on.
As we saw yet another bit of motion in the backfield there, and ball is going to end up going to running back Elijah Tau-Oliver, who is the other man in this 2-man backfield. Tau-Tolliver, sorry, a transfer from Sacramento State, a redshirt senior who's going to get about 3 yards out of there to put them on 3rd and 1. And this is Michigan State that is yet to convert a 3rd down so far.
Yeah, we'll see what the Wolverines dial up for them. I think timeout. I think the Wolverines took a timeout.
That was going to be Michigan using its first time out of the game. About 3-ish minutes in the second quarter. 12:47. Michigan State with the ball on Michigan's 16-yard line, 3rd and 1.
I think that's a smart play by the Wolverines. Obviously, they can feel the momentum shifting here in this stadium. 3rd and 1 in the red zone from the 16 for the Spartans. Those big runs have set them up well. We'll see what the Wolverines decide to do here on defense. If they're going to, 3rd and 1 here, so not much to gain. This could be, if I'm the Spartans, I'd say we probably have 2 downs to pick this up, right? Whatever you do, don't lose a yard here. Go for it on 4th down if you have to. But just something safe up the middle, run the ball, don't get too cute with this, but we'll see how the Wolverines decide to attack this.
We've seen some interesting play calling from the Spartans here. A little bit of trickery getting Tao Tolliver involved. The running back tight end hybrid. As that is going to be Michigan State's going to throw yet another running back in, as that's going to be Brandon Tullis in there, as that is going to be a keeper from Aiden Childs that's going to get them just over the line. That is going to get the ball placed at the 14 for, I think, a 2-yard gain and a 1st and 10 from Michigan State with 12 minutes and about 20 seconds left in the second quarter.
Yeah, that was a good job by the Spartans. Bring in Tullis. Maybe a little bit of confusion there. Then Childs keeps it, pushes up for the 1st down. Now they're going to have fresh set of downs from the 14-yard line, 12 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
As Childs lining up in the I formation with 2 backs in the backfield, that is going to be, we're going to get an appearance out of number 44, who I believe is a fullback, as Childs, that's going to be to Tao Tolliver, or no, that is going to be Mekhi Frazier with the big gain yet again, finding a hole in the Michigan run defense. That's going to put them about just shy of the 5-yard line. That is going to be 1st and 4 Spartans.
Wow, Frazier, I mean, he's been good all year, but this is a big game for him so far. I mean, really putting this Spartans team on his back right now with these big runs. He's the guy that got them all the way down here, and he's the guy that's putting them at the 4-yard line.
Just Frazier in the backfield here for what maybe it could be another handoff, but maybe we could see a bit more creativity, a bit more motion in this backfield, as that is going to be handed off to Frazier, who's going to find another hole, and he's going to get crunched up just about at the 2-3 yard line for a gain of about 1-2. As that's going to bring up 2nd and 2 for the Spartans. About 10 minutes, 58 seconds left in the second quarter. Michigan's still up 10-0. Ball at the 2-yard line.
Yep, 2nd and 2 for the Spartans. Let's see what they elect to do here. I think the passing game just hasn't been humming so far this game. I think you just run it up here. Don't get too cute. Keep running it with Frazier. See if you can get it to get a touchdown here or get it to 3rd and really short.
As it is going to be Tao Tolliver in the backfield, motioning into shotgun alongside Childs. As that is going to be a flag, apparently in the defense this time.
I think. Oh, okay. So that was actually a timeout by Michigan State. Maybe they didn't like what they saw there on defense. So taking that timeout. I mean, obviously, with the lack of opportunity tonight, this is a big moment for them on offense. Big drive, trying to cut the lead to 3 points here in East Lansing. Scores 10-0 right now, but the Spartans have driven down the field. They're on the 2-yard line, 2nd and 2. 10 minutes and 24 seconds left in this quarter.
Yeah, and Michigan State, as you said, maybe saw a look in the defense that they didn't like, that they wanted a softer read, so they're going to call that timeout there. They're going to kind of readjust as 10 minutes, 24 seconds left in the second quarter.
Yep, we got Tao Tolliver back out there on the field for the Spartans.
As that is going to be Tao Tolliver and Childs in shotgun in the backfield, as Childs hands off to Tao Tolliver, who gets, looks like we got some motion there as we saw the flip in the backfield, and that is going to be a gain for about 1 or 2, but we see another flag thrown, and that is going to take away the gain got crunched up at the line of scrimmage to bring up 3rd and 2 for the Spartans, and now we're seeing what looked to have been a flag thrown.
Yeah, I'm not. There is a flag down on the field. We'll see what that was for. It was Krishan McCray with the rush. Kind of a little bit of confusion in the backfield, but
looked to have been an end around to McCray.
Yeah. But McCray not able to get much going. We'll see what this flag is on. As that is going to be an unnecessary roughness call on
I believe
it was on the Spartans. Yeah, it was on the offense.
That is, you don't see an unnecessary roughness call on an offense very, very often. So that is a little surprising.
That was kind of unexpected there, but the Wolverines fans here loving that that call.
As suddenly a 3rd and 2 or 2nd and 2 looks to be a 2nd and 17.
Yeah, I mean they get the down back, but wow, pushing them back 17 yards, 2nd and 17. I think that's not a great position for the Spartans to be. Maybe dial up a run here, try to get closer, or we'll see if they let Childs take a shot here to the end zone.
As Childs and Frazier lining up in shotgun yet again. Tight end Jake Velling motioning a little bit as drop back to Childs, who holds on to it. Childs looking for a deep look in the secondary, and that is going to be broken up.
2 flags coming out.
In the Wolverines secondary, but we're going to see 2 flags thrown on that play, and I expect
defensive pass
and I expect at least one to be a defensive pass interference call, potentially both.
Yeah. I mean, well, obviously penalty's been an issue for the Spartans tonight, but it looks like the Wolverines just helped them right back out.
And that penalty call is going to be on nickel cornerback TJ Metcalf, who looked to have made a bit of contact on Amari Kelly.
Yeah.
That he maybe should not have made.
Yeah, TJ Metcalf kind of pushes him down there.
Yes.
Makes it pretty obvious for the refs. Throws those 2 flags. Metcalf, a freshman. Not a mistake that probably a play that he'd like to have back.
Frazier and Tolliver in the backfield in shotgun with 4 receivers. That's going to be a keeper from Childs, who's going to take it down the end zone himself, and he's going to get stopped, I think, right at the goal line, as that is going to bring up 2nd and 1 for the Spartans. 9 minutes, 30 seconds left in the second quarter on a running clock, as that is, as Spartan Stadium plays the replay. That for a second looked as though that Childs was over the line, but the Spartans are going to get a push right at the goal line. And Michigan is going to get a push right at the goal line, and that is going to bring up 2nd and 1. As we're going to see a bit of I formation there in the backfield, as Childs is going to keep that himself, and he's going to take it about over the line of scrimmage, and that is unconfirmed at the moment. The Spartans fans in our end are holding up both of their hands for a touchdown call, but no word from the ref and no celebration on the field just yet.
We'll see. Again, very close, but I think it is shorts for the Spartans once again. We'll see what the ref has to say here.
As
looks like it was short. It's going
to be looks like it's going to be short, as Michigan's run defense is going to have yet another big play there.
Michigan holding up well here on the goal line. See if they can do it again. Obviously, 1st and 1 is hard to defend from, but we'll see. 3rd and 1 here.
You can expect to see 2 more attempts from this point, as yet another I formation, as the Spartans are going to try and run that up the middle, and
it looks like they got
that time it looks good. We're seeing a lot more heads around.
Yep.
The ref's going to make the call. That's going to be in. Touchdown, Michigan State. Aiden Childs. As the fireworks go off at Spartan Stadium, as these home fans are loving it. The smoke machines on the field are clearly loving it, and that is going to be Aiden Childs, starting QB, who just dances his way out of the end zone after driving his way into it. Yeah,
it wasn't the sexiest drive of all time, but they finally got down there. That penalty from Michigan, TJ Metcalf, pass interference, obviously set them up there. And the Wolverines did a good job defending on the goal line, but obviously when you have 4 downs to get 1 yard, it's pretty hard to stop. Spartans fans erupting here as they finally get on the board. It's going to be 10-6. Wolverines still have the lead. Michigan State to kick the extra points.
As we are seeing a penalty called on Michigan State's offense for something that happened after the touchdown.
Conduct,
so possibly a taunting call. Possibly.
Yeah. So that's going to back them up on the extra points.
As the Spartans fans, they don't particularly mind the call, as
they're happy with their touchdown.
As kicker Martin Connington for the Spartans is going to line up to take the extra point, and the extra point is good, and that is going to be 10 Michigan, 7 Michigan State, about 8 minutes 24 seconds in the second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, not a super offense-heavy first half so far, but both teams able to get in the end zone. Michigan State really carried this drive by Fraser. I mean, that big run, 50-yard run, set them up in their own territory, get them into the red zone, and they were able to capitalize. That's a good job. Obviously, penalties on both teams, but in the end of the day, Spartans able to score here, push it in. So that'll be 10-7, Wolverines still with the lead, but the Spartans closing the gap here in East Lansing. Thank you for joining us. There's 8 minutes and 24 seconds left in the second quarter, and we have a media timeout right now.
As you know, the second quarter moving a little bit quicker than the first, I think, owing to a lot of run plays, a lot of, strange penalties, both a 15-yard gain taken away, a big gain taken away, and then a big gain given right back thanks to a Michigan penalty. Ultimately, I think we saw some good looks out of that Michigan run defense on that drive, even if it didn't lead touchdown. Would you agree, Callie?
I agree. I think they did a great job. They could have done better, obviously, but Fraser just with a great play, and Spartans able to capitalize. Obviously, Childs, a really talented runner as well, just able to do those short runs forward and pick up the first down.
As about 1 minute, 15 seconds left. I'm gonna throw you another question. Are you ready?
Okay.
We listen to an eclectic variety of music in the car on our way up here. So why don't you give me just 3 quick songs that describe your mood? And everyone in the chat, as always, you can chime in as well. I want to hear 3 songs that describe your mood right now, related to Michigan football, related to how you're feeling about your life right now. Just 3 songs that you think kind of suit the vibe for you right now.
Okay, that's a hard question. Do you have 3 songs in mind for yourself?
I'm thinking.
Okay, I'm also thinking.
Maybe Baby It's Cold Outside's probably number 1.
That's a good one.
Moment. It is getting a little chilly up here in the press box.
I mean, we're very happy to be here. Great atmosphere here in East Lansing at the Spartan Stadium, but it is a cold night out, but that has not stopped the fans. Obviously, Spartans fans here in full tonight. We see a lot of Wolverines in the crowd as well. Student section for the Spartans were here very early. We were kind of surprised. The student section was filled out over an hour before the game started. So impressive job by these Spartans fans, showing their loyalty, showing up to this big rivalry game.
Yeah, because usually the big house back in Ann Arbor, you see fans start to fill in a little bit later as...
Yeah, it was kind of the opposite here. You usually see that the non-student section is super filled in Ann Arbor. Student section is the last to fill up. Here was the opposites. The student section was the first section to fill up, and they were totally packed with over an hour to go before the kickoff.
As Michigan State is going to deal with their first kickoff of the game, actually, surprisingly, as Martin Cunnington pins Michigan up to about the 10, as Andrew Marsh just elects for the fair catch, as Michigan is going to have to work pretty much the length of the field in order to get themselves back on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this song, I don't know if it exactly describes my mood, but I can't get Mr. Brightside out of my head as a Wolverines fan. So I'm going to put that one out there.
We were listening to Hallelujah, the Jeff Buckley version, for a little bit
yes.
on the way up. I don't know if that describes my mood either, but
I'm excited. It's been a good game so far here.
Yeah,
only a 3-point game here in East Lansing. So
it's been spirited and it's been competitive, and especially after seeing some of the more ugly scorelines in this rivalry and some of the more ugly off-the-field storylines in this rivalry, especially 2022 and 2023, it is good to have just a spirited, hopefully friendly clash of football, as Underwood is going to hand that off to Marshall, who's going to get crunched up about the 3-4 yard line. At about 3-4 yards, as that is going to be, a 3-yard gain, put Michigan at second and 7, about 8 minutes into the second quarter. Ball at Michigan's 28, Michigan 10, Michigan State 7. As that is going to be a I formation in the backfield, as Underwood fakes the handoff, rolls out to his right, looking for someone. He's not going to find him. He's going to keep it himself, and he's going to run for only about 2-3 yards. But that's still going to move the chains a little bit for Michigan on offense.
I think he was close to the first down there.
As that is going to be spotted at about As that is, as you said, that was a 6-yard pickup to get Michigan to about the 34-yard line, as that is going to be a 3rd and 1, very close to the first down.
Good
as we're seeing Underwood stretch some of that dual threat ability. As Underwood, and that is yet another repeat of trouble with the snap. It's a bad snap bounce over Underwood's head, and he rolls out in the backfield. He gets to it just in time, but that was a bit of recent history that Michigan fans would desperately want to forget that we almost saw play back out in real time, as that seemed to be a miscommunication there with the center that pins Michigan back at about its own 18-yard line, and that's going to see the punt team come out.
I'm not sure what happened there. I guess Greg Crippen just let it go too high. Goes right over Underwood's head, has to run back, jump on the ball. And, I mean, wow, if you're a Spartan fan here in this stadium, that is exactly what you need. Michigan Wolverines having to punt here after a failed snap on
as
third
Hudson
down.
Hollenbeck gets the punt out, and that is going to be, I think, Amari Kelly there for the Spartans is going to fair catch that, and Michigan State gets to start out at their own 35-yard line. And you have to think, after a botched drive from Michigan in response to a very methodic Michigan State drive, is there maybe a bit of a momentum shift away from...
That's what I'm thinking.
As Zack Schteingart, our broadcast partner, when that snap was bobbled over Underwood's head, he made a facial expression very reminiscent of that unfortunate Michigan fan whose face became the icon respondent of the trouble with the snap incident back in 2015.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's just the type of play that you can't predict, you can't see happening. I mean, Michigan Wolverines, 3rd and 1. Like I said, they weren't great on 3rd down this year, but, you know, Wolverines fans hope that they would pick that up and continue the drive, but they have to go 3rd and out after it snapped just completely. Underwood completely lost it. And that's going to give the Spartans a great opportunity to double down on points here, potentially get the lead with only 6 minutes and 22 seconds left in the second quarter. So yeah, as I said, Wolverines still holding on to a lead, but Wolverines have the Spartans have a shot here. Right now it's 10-7. The ball will be placed. The ball's on the 37-yard line for the Spartans. So we'll see if they can go back-to-back in their scoring drives here and at least get a field goal to tie up the game.
Yeah, and, you know, like you said, that's just unpredictable. That's just an unfortunate miscommunication between center Greg Crippen and Underwood. But just, we've seen Michigan end up with solid field position on a lot of these drives and just not really be able to pull a lot out of it. As, you know, about 1 minute, 10 seconds left in the timeout as the Spartan faithful kind of emboldened, fielding like they owned their old building once again, getting into it with the Go Green, Go White chant, which...
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Spartan fan, that's totally fair. I mean, you can feel the momentum and the atmosphere here in Spartan Stadium shifting. Obviously, get out to a 10-0 start. You're trailing 10 points at home in the first quarter against your biggest rival, but they're able to put a nice drive together. Frazier with a big run, get them in the end zone to put them up, or to cut the lead to 3. 10-7 game. And now, after that crucial mistake by the Wolverines, you see the Spartans with a shot to tie or even take the lead in this game. I think if you're the Spartans, you have to go back to Frazier. I mean, he's averaging 11 yards per carry tonight. Obviously, that 49-yard rush helps a lot, but he's been pretty efficient, and I do think he's the best running back on this team. Child's still 2 for 8, only a 25% completion percentage, so keeping the game on the ground where they're doing a good job so far.
As the snap is going to go to, I believe, Elijah Tad-Oliver in the backfield, and that is going to get the Spartans up to their 40-yard line. Solid pickup there on first down to bring them up to about 2nd and 8. Only about 2 yards, as that was... Apologies, that was Mekhi Frazier. As we've seen Michigan State kind of throw out a couple of different looks in this backfield, I think sort of really head coach Jonathan Smith is kind of really growing into this run game. And sort of, as you mentioned in the first quarter, Michigan State needs to establish the run to have any chance of taking this game and causing the upset tonight. And I think they're starting to do that now, as it's going to be pretty much a lone backfield with Frazier, unless we see some motioning, as Childs hands off to Frazier. Frazier plugs it about slightly right in the middle of the field. That's going to go to about the 45-yard line. I think just short of there, maybe more so Michigan State's 43, 44.
Yeah. And you mentioned Jonathan Smith. I mean, talk about a guy who, this is a big game, is all I'll say. I think the Spartan faithful, at least some groups, have not been super happy with his performance recently, and that's fair after a 4-game losing streak in Big Ten play. So this is a big get-right game for him and this Spartans team.
As that is going to be Childs and Frazier in the backfield. Childs with the drop back. Childs looking for a receiver, and that is going to be well physically defended by the Michigan secondary, as it looks as though that play is going to come from...
Yeah, I mean, it was intended for Marsh, and I think it was 13 for the Wolverines.
It looked like that was Brandon Hillman actually coming in with a physical break up there. I think some Spartans fans...
I think they wanted a penalty on that. Yeah.
Some Spartans fans wanted a defensive pass interference. No, sorry, that was... Hillman was indeed lined up in the backfield, but as you said, I think that was more so coming the way of right corner Zeke Berry, as Michigan State's punt team is yet again sending the ball the way of Samaj Morgan, who initially he looked like he was waving that for a fair catch, but he's going to take it himself, and he's going to end up backing Michigan up to about their 3-4 yard line.
Yeah, Michigan on special teams this year receiving has not been great. I mean, I don't know what the Wolverines have to do to kind of switch things up, but it hasn't been, at least in my opinion, an area of strength for this Wolverines team on special teams.
Yeah, as Michigan's going to be backed up to their own 5, is going to have a lot of work to do on this drive.
Yeah, I mean, obviously great break for the Wolverines, able to get the Spartans off the field, get the ball back, but when you're starting at your own 5-yard line, that's going to be a lot of work for Underwood. I'd say they just start off with, we have another timeout here on the field. But yeah, I mean, they're just going to have to start off, I think, give it to Haynes, give it to Marshall even, both very capable running backs, just to get the drive started and get them away from their own end zone.
Yeah, as Michigan is, again, Michigan's still leading 10-7, about 4 minutes, 48 seconds left in a quick second quarter. Michigan, 1st and 10, ball on their own 5-yard line following a ineffective return from Samaj Morgan.
Yeah. Vihaan, I have a question for you. We have 2 contestants throwing footballs down there on the field. How confident are you in your ability as a quarterback if you were chosen to go make those throws through that square window on the field?
You know, if any of you down there on the field are listening, put me in, coach.
Put him in. Yeah, I mean, both contestants, no offense to them, weren't doing a great job. Not very accurate. I think you would have won down there, Vihaan.
Yeah, you know, I appreciate the faith, Keale, and I think you've got to have a healthy amount of faith in yourself.
Yeah,
no matter what you're doing,
important.
Whether you're broadcasting, whether you're playing football, whether you're working this game, whether you're listening from home, just have faith in your ability to be the best at what you do. And maybe I am the best at throwing footballs through a square hole. I'll never know until I try.
Exactly.
Just keep it.
Yeah, let's hope the Wolverine team has that same mentality as Vihaan, because they're going to need it here on offense. I mean, both teams not off to a great start offensively. Spartans have had one good drive offensively out of their 4 or 5 so far. Wolverines, you could probably say the same about them. So we'll see if the Wolverines can capitalize on offense here. We got 30 seconds left in the media timeouts, but the Wolverines are set to come back out on offense. They currently hold a 10-7 lead over the Michigan State Spartans here in East Lansing. We've got 4 minutes and 48 seconds left in the half. So we'll see what the Wolverines elect to do here. Ball on their own 5-yard line. Like we talked about, I think that is Jordan Marshall in the backfield. So they're just going to, he's a good, strong, powerful running back. See if he can power through, get them out of the peril of their own 5-yard line here.
Yeah, as Michigan pinned deep into its own territory, Underwood and Marshall in the backfield, spread out receivers. Look to be an Underwood keeper. He's going to hand it to Marshall, who is going to plug it down the middle of the field and get, I think gets about 4 or 5 yards.
Pretty good pickup. Yeah.
Gets to about, the 8-yard line.
Second and
let's bring up 2nd and 6. Ball on Michigan's 9-yard line with running clock about 4 minutes, 30 seconds left in the second quarter.
Yeah, and that's just a great job by Marshall at being such a strong, powerful runner, kind of gaining an extra yard or two after initial contact with the Michigan State defensive line.
As Underwood and Marshall in the backfield, Underwood hands that off to Marshall. Marshall's going to again kind of run, not quite down the middle, but he's going to find a bit of a hole, and he's going to meet with some pretty heavy contact from that Michigan State run defense. Going to fight his way to about, I think, the 11, 12-yard line. Or gets closer to the 13th, actually, as that is going to bring up 3rd and 2 for the Wolverines, who I think when you look at the clock situation, both teams have 2 timeouts, and, and the 2-minute warning coming up. It's towards the end of the quarter, but both teams sort of have the ability to sort of manage and control the flow of this game if they want. So Michigan's going to want a methodical drive that eats up a lot of the clock. That, I think, works in their favor.
I agree. They do not want to give the Spartans a chance to score after this drive.
As Underwood motions fullback Max Bredesen to block before handing it off to Jordan Marshall, who's going to take it down the middle and is going to get maybe a yard and looks likely short of the first down marker.
Yeah.
Or no, that's going to be a favorable spot. That's going to be given, I think, about pretty much exactly what they needed. I think exact 2 yards to bring up 1st and 10 for the Wolverines.
Our angle again is bad from here, but that looked short to me. But good pickup for the Wolverines to get that first down and keep the drive alive.
Yeah, as Underwood and Marshall in the backfield. As no motion in the backfield of the Wolverines. Underwood drops back. Underwood looking for an open receiver. Looking for McCulley, and that is going to be incomplete as that pass is going to be defended by Michigan State.
Yep, Malcolm Bell in coverage on McCulley. Good job. Doing a pretty good job tonight. He had a pretty key defensive pass interference earlier in the game, but that's a fun matchup. We've seen Malcolm Bell on McCulley for a lot of this game so far here tonight.
As we're actually going to see both Morgan and Marshall in the backfield, so I expect the potential for some trickery as we're going to see, going to be a pretty straightforward hand off to Marshall for the pitch. That's going to go about left of the marker, just
1 yard.
Maybe a yard, picks up a yard for the 3rd down. 2nd and 18 as Michigan's at 3rd and 9. And with the clock running and neither team having taken a timeout, we are about 30 seconds away from the 2-minute warning.
Yeah. I mean, Wolverines find themselves back in another 3rd down situation, but this time 3rd and 9, so far away to go. We'll see what they do here. Michigan State fired up, hoping to get this big stop.
As we're going to see Justice Haynes in the backfield now, as Underwood motions. Haynes, he's going to keep the ball himself. He's going to drop back. Short pass to Haynes, and he's going to be no good for the first down as maybe gets a yard as Michigan State gets a big 4th down stop.
Yeah, Malcolm Bell making his presence felt here in this game. Gets the big stop, or defends the pass against McCulley, and then gets pressure on Underwood almost immediately, forces him to take a check down, not able to get very much on it. Only 1 yard, so that'll make it 4th and 8. They get the stop. The Wolverines will have to punt here, but we have made it to the 2-minute warning.
As that is going to bring up 4th and 8 as we go to a 3-minute timeout for the 2-minute warning. 4th and 8, ball on the 19-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Both teams not getting much going on offense, especially the Wolverines in their past couple drives. I mean, this is a team that last week against Washington I think looked really solid offensively. Obviously against USC there were some struggles, but last week the run game obviously was humming. Justice Haynes was out, but Jordan Marshall with a great game last week on the ground. I think that was arguably Bryce Underwood's best game passing against Washington as well. It was a really complete game for this Wolverines offense. Andrew Marsh getting involved a lot last game. He got a touchdown. Zack Marshall also, big game. I think the 3rd-year tight end for the Wolverines stepped up with the injuries. And now we haven't really seen much from the Michigan tight ends this game. This passing for both teams has just not been there. Underwood 5 for 12, Childs 2 for 9, and right now the Spartans running backs are a lot more efficient so far. I mean, Fraser doing a better job on the ground than Haynes and Marshall combined. So, yeah, what are your thoughts, Vihaan?
Yeah, I think it is. If you're a Michigan fan, I think obviously Michigan fans can be not the most rational bunch, as being a blue-blooded program with a legacy of winning will often do to you.
They have
but
very
I think
high expectations.
There's
all
potentially
the time.
some justifiable concern here
Yeah.
tonight with what we're seeing. As
Student section's got a massive MSU flag in the crowd right now. These students are very excited with how, I mean, if you're coming into this point in this game, like 2 touchdown underdogs, whatever it was, I'm not sure exactly, but point was the Wolverines were favored here by a decent amount, and to be only down 3 in the second quarter, 2 minutes left, you have the opportunity to go out there and take the lead or tie it up at the very least before half. Makes sense that these Spartans fans are happy right now. But yeah, I mean, for the Wolverines, they really just, coming off of last week's amazing offensive performance, this has been, I would say, a letdown for Wolverines fans. Both offenses not living up to their full potential here tonight, but especially the Wolverines. I mean, the Spartans have gotten a good spark from Fraser in the running game, but the Wolverines just need to get something going offensively. We saw them come out early with some aggressive shots, but
as that is going to be a punt for Hollenbeck. Return to Kelly, who's going to fair catch it at about Michigan State's 38-yard line. That is going to be about 34-yard line, as that's going to be solid field position for the Spartans to work with, especially if they're content to just drive down the field, be methodic, and take that field goal to knot things up.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm them, I think that is the move here. No need to. What?
As we're seeing Michigan State offense in the huddle, as is going to be Childs and Frazier lining up in the backfield in shotgun. As tight end Jake Velling motions to the left, as Childs hands it off to Frazier, who's going to run about down the middle, and the Michigan's defense is going to bottle that up.
Yeah.
As we're going to get Frazier's got about a yard out of that. 2nd and 9, ball Michigan State 35 with a minute 30 left in the second quarter.
Yeah, I just think there's no need for the Spartans to kind of rush anything here, be super aggressive. They can kind of just make their way down the field and tie this game up.
This is fascinating as we see Childs in an empty backfield, or potentially you could see Frazier lined up as a receiver. He's not going to motion back, as Childs is going to look to throw that himself, and that was going to Krishan McCray, but that is going to be incomplete.
Yeah, I mean, I like what they're doing in theory. Maybe you get a big play, move yourself downfield, but obviously if you're going to get an incomplete pass, that's just going to kind of stall the drive here. 3rd and 9 now for the Spartans.
As that is going to back them up to 3rd and 9. As we're going to see Childs and Tautolover in the backfield. Childs drops back. Childs looks for an open receiver. He's found one, as he's going to find Nick Marsh for a solid first down game, but Marsh, bottled up by the Michigan defense, actually takes a few steps back and erases some of that gain, although that should still be enough for the first down pickup.
Yeah. That was not a great. I mean, I thought he might have a chance to pick up some yards there, but eventually it goes back.
As that is going to bring about, actually not going to be first down. That is going to be 4th and 1.
That was first down, but it looked like they stopped him short. Maybe
it looked as though it looked as though Marsh had gotten the first down, but I think the pressure from Michigan's defense that caused him to back up took away maybe the yard or two that was needed, as that's going to bring up 4th and 1, and we're going to see
Wolverines take a timeout here.
Michigan's going to take its timeout. I think the defense wants to prepare itself for what its looks are. There's a couple of different ways Michigan State could approach this. I think it is likely that you see the Spartans try and go for it on 4th and 1.
Yeah.
Especially with a minute 11 left in the second quarter, and the fact that they have, I believe, successfully converted a 4th down earlier today.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, MSU actually over a 50% conversion rate on 4th down this year, so they're pretty comfortable on 4th down. I can pull up the exact Yeah, they have a 52% conversion rate on fourth down. It's a pretty solid job. So they're going to keep the offense out on the field here for 4th and 1.
Yeah, as we said, I think this is pretty likely 4th down situation for the Spartans, as we're going to see a lineup in the I formation with Frazier, I believe, lining receiver, as Childs is going to keep that himself, I think, and run right down the middle, as it looks as though he got enough to get the yard, to get the first down, and he did, as that is going to be 1st and 10 for Michigan State. Ball at about the 45, 1 minute 7 left in the second quarter.
Yeah, so the Spartans were 10 for 19 on 4th down this year, and they moved to 11 for 20.
As Childs keeps that himself, looking for Marsh. Incomplete, thrown pretty much at his feet.
Yeah, low ball. There's pretty much no way Marsh could have caught that one.
I think you're seeing both secondaries play pretty aggressive zone coverage, man coverage today.
Yeah.
Really seeing some of these matchups get not necessarily chippy yet, but I think both teams' secondary options kind of really using their physicality to bat down passes and just provide that pressure there on the outside.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what, if any, adjustments are going to be made.
2nd and 10 as Childs motioning in the backfield. Childs with the drop back, roll out to the right. Childs looking for the deep ball, looking for the deep pass. Is he going to find it? As he's going to take the safe first down completion to about the 50. He's going to find running back Brandon Tullis, senior from Dallas, Texas, for about a solid 6-yard gain. 3rd and 4, Michigan State. 52 seconds left in the second quarter. The Spartans with 2 timeouts, Michigan with 1. Ball at Michigan State's 49.
Yeah, I think that was a good job by Childs, not forcing something downfield. Obviously, he wanted that deep shot, but taking the safe option.
Childs and Frazier in the backfield. Childs dropping back. Childs getting it bottled up, and that is going to be brought down by Derek Moore. But there is a flag thrown in the backfield.
I don't think there was any receivers in the area. I mean, he kind of just got rid of the ball. Is that intentional grounding, perhaps?
I believe so.
I believe so. Yeah, I mean, great job getting pressure. I think that was...
that was Derek Moore. That was number 8, Derek Moore.
Yeah, Derek Moore getting the pressure. Childs tries to throw it away. No eligible receivers in the area.
Pass rusher from Baltimore, Maryland. As... once again, we see Childs on the drop back, as that is an effort by the entire Michigan pass rush to create the pressure, and it's just the role of Moore to execute that, and he's going to come down with the play. And that is indeed going to be an intentional grounding call on Aiden Childs for Michigan State. That is going to back them up to the 4th and 12, as it is going to be Michigan State's turn to punt back on what will likely be the final possession of a pretty choppy first half.
Yeah, I mean, both teams not looked great offensively. Defense has been a big key in this game for both teams. Spartans getting stops on the Wolverines, and then again the Wolverines getting a stop here, preventing ensuring that they go into halftime with the lead. There's just a great job getting pressure by those guys on the Wolverines D-line.
As Michigan punt returner will be Samaj Morgan, as that is going to be a pretty solid effort punt there from the Spartans, as Morgan apparently seemed to run into one of his own teammates.
Yeah.
And is going to get stopped up at about the 15-yard line, continuing Michigan's struggles on the return side of special teams.
Yeah, it has not been pretty special teams for the returning, but I mean, not terrible field position. We'll see if the Wolverines kind of just elect to run the clock out here, get some runs with Haynes and Marshall to kind of take them into the half. I feel like that's probably what they're going to do.
I think so
too.
Them
being very aggressive here. They do have, it's 39 seconds left in the second quarter. The
but
Wolverines
they do not
have
control.
Timeouts.
As it looks as though it's going to be Underwood in an empty backfield.
Yeah.
As he's motioning Justice Haynes to his right into shotgun formation. And he's handoff to Haynes, who's going to run down the middle, finding a good solid hole there, and that is going to take Haynes to about the 21.
Yeah, big hole in that first level there. Wasn't able to get past the second level, but nice run by Haynes.
as that is going to be a 9-yard pickup as Underwood with the drop back. Underwood finds Haynes for the easy pass. That looks like a first down and more.
Yep, first down and more, and Haynes, good job at cutting all the way across the field, getting out of bounds, stop that clock. Lets Michigan save their timeout.
As that is going to be bring up first and 10 for Michigan. Ball on their own 30. 17 seconds left in the second quarter. As we are seeing Underwood and Haynes in the backfield. Snap to Underwood. Drop back. Underwood looking for Marlon Klein. Finds Marlon Klein. He's going to get himself to about the 35-yard line. A little shy there for a solid pickup, taking advantage of one of his primary safety blankets earlier in the season, who has seen less use as time passed on, although that is more so due to Klein dealing with a couple of injuries.
I think injuries have been a big part, but these Michigan tight ends have been a big part of this passing game, whoever it is out there.
As Underwood and Haynes in the backfield. Snap to Underwood. Drop back. Underwood looking for Samaj Morgan, and that is going to be incomplete as Michigan State secondary puts up the pressure as Morgan pretty much only got one hand to it.
I think that was a pretty good pass by Underwood. I mean, obviously that was a very tight window between defenders there. Morgan just not able to secure the ball.
With 8 seconds left in the second quarter, Michigan still up 10-7. 3rd and 6, ball on the 34-yard line, as we are seeing what will likely be one of, if not the final play of this quarter.
Yeah, we'll see. Michigan has a timeout left.
And
State
we
taking
hear
a
a whistle
timeout?
blown as Michigan State uses one of its 2 remaining timeouts. As
I mean, I think the Wolverines have done a pretty good job this drive. 9-yard rush up by Haynes, 4-yard catch by Haynes, get it to Klein. They've tried their best to control the clock here, getting out of bounds, but they just didn't have a lot of time to work with here. Only 8 seconds left. They could maybe run it once, timeout, take a shot, but they're only at the 34-yard line, so it's gonna be hard. We'll see if they try to go for a deep shot to get them into field goal range here, but they're gonna need to pick up at least like 20, 30 yards here.
As we're going to see Underwood and Haynes in the backfield. The Spartan Stadium briefly breaks out into a rendition of Blink-182's classic All the Small Things. Snap to Underwood. Handoff to Haynes, who runs that down the middle for a solid pickup.
Yep.
That's going to take him to about the 42-yard line, as that is going to be about 3rd and 6, about 3 seconds left on the second quarter, as really isn't too much room for Michigan to do much here, except maybe a Hail Mary attempt.
Oh, wait. Okay.
We are seeing some motion there, as it looks like the clock is going to run out, and that is going to do it for this first half here from Spartan Stadium, as Michigan enters the half with a 10-7 lead. Ultimately a choppy, I think disappointing at points if you're a Michigan fan, exciting at points if you're a Spartans fan.
I think both teams had some very high highs and low lows in this half. I thought the Wolverines took the timeout there, but they're going to elect to just let it go into the half. And, I mean, if you're a Spartans fan, I think only being down 3 going into halftime is not a bad place to be.
I agree. And as just giving you some quick stats, Michigan with 10 first downs to the Spartans 5, 6 rushing first downs to Michigan State's 4, 3 passing first downs to Michigan State's 0. So Michigan State keeping themselves in the game despite not having a first down with the pass. Michigan State with 8 penalties to Michigan's 2, as both teams with 1 4th down conversion each. Both teams struggling on 3rd down. Michigan only converting 3 of 9, whereas Michigan State converting 2 of 9.
Yeah, but I think, like you mentioned, penalty is a big part of this game. 75 penalty yards for Michigan State so far this game. Let up a lot of big penalties to the Wolverines. I mean, both quarterbacks kind of just need to get it going. I mean, I think Childs, very talented player, like we said. He's 4 for 13 for 26 yards, 31% completion rate percentage, and a 47.6 rating. So not his best game so far. they really hope to get something going with him after halftime. But he has contributed. He's tried to contribute on the ground. Obviously, he's also a very capable runner, but Fraser has been the main points of offense for this Spartans team.
And now we have the Michigan marching band taking us onto the field for a halftime show, as they always do. One of the most beloved marching band units in all of college football. Keale, just give me some of your takeaways, especially, talk a little about the passing off. I think Michigan State has done a good job at playing, man coverage, just taking the deep ball out of Underwood's hands. But just tell me about maybe what could Michigan be doing a little bit differently in this.
I think for the Wolverines, at this point you kind of just have to take some of those shorter throws. I think the checkdowns to Justice Haynes have been working really well. We know that he's a great on the ground, but he's also a really capable receiving back. So, the Spartans have also been getting some pretty good pressure on Underwood. So just taking the quick throws, not trying to force things downfield. I do think it's important for them to take a couple shots down deep, just maybe to keep this Spartans team on their toes. Like a go route to Andrew Marsh, just to get maybe a spark if it happens, if not. But both teams both secondaries, give credit to these defense, because both secondaries have just done a really good job tonight, shutting down two of these talented quarterbacks here.
Yeah, and just give me a little bit about the run game. I think Michigan has obviously done well at finding some holds. So has Michigan State. Mekhi Frazier showing quite a bit on the game. Just talk a little about just the usage rates between Haynes and Marshall. Do you think Haynes is maybe still on a bit of a load management situation, given his injury?
I think that might be a factor, but I think that both of these running backs are very, very capable. I think coming into this season, I think most Wolverines fans expected it to be kind of a 1A, 1B type split with Haynes and Marshall. And it looks like it was more, less of that split than we expected. Haynes was getting a lot more of the work early in the season. But obviously, Jordan Marshall put up a great game last week. I think they're a great duo, and I like the amount of usage that both of them are getting. I think they do different things, obviously. Marshall, very good between the tackles, ground and pound, running back. Haynes, overall just a great, shifty, quick, good receiving back. I forgot to mention this, but I would like to see the Wolverines get their tight ends more involved. Obviously, we saw that catch by Marlon Klein towards the end of the half, but I think that last week we saw Zack Marshall with a big game. I think he had over 70 yards, and that's a big part of this passing game. This Michigan team is a team that really likes to throw to their tight ends, and I think that has been one of the problems with this offense tonight not getting going, is we haven't really. That was Klein's first target of the game. That was the only tight end target of the game, was that last catch before the end of the half. So, I think Marsh is a great player. I think McCulley's a great player, but with this great secondary play so far by the Spartans, I think getting these tight ends more involved would be one of the keys for the Wolverines.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've seen that on their end as well, as Michigan State tight end Jake Velling hasn't had a single catch or even really a single look in his direction all night. And I think we just kind of seen the tight ends taken out of the equation. It's kind of surprising considering that both of these are young QBs who tend to rely on those big sort of slow targets who are good at separating to sort of get those easy yardage. But we really didn't see either Klein or Velling get those looks in all night. So I'm curious, do you think that's going to change?
Marshes get a lot of targets. Yeah, I hope that changes. For both teams to get this offense going. I think there's been a lot of forced, passes where the coverage just, really good coverage trying to throw it to Marsh or McCulley for the Wolverines. Again, to Marsh on the other side for the Spartans. I think just with the way these teams have been playing defense, I think that getting those short checkdowns, either the running back, the tight end, just they need to get methodical drives going. Both teams have been kind of hit or miss, I'd say. Both teams kind of just up and down in the consistency of their offenses. Obviously, the Spartans had that, I guess you could say, one good drive out of 5 or 6 in that first half where they got the touchdown, mostly coming off of the big run from Frazier. So I think both teams are going to continue to play a lot of man coverage. I think that's been working well, and we're going to see what receivers can step up to kind of beat their guy, make a play on the ball. We can get those big tight ends involved as well.
Yeah, for sure. As We've got Michigan State's marching band taking the field now, as this is going to get a even more raucous cheer from the mostly home crowd, although like we said, there's been very, very solid representation for the Wolverines.
Yeah.
From our vantage point, we could see tons of maize in tonight's crowd.
Yeah, the maize really stands out against the green and white here in Spartan Stadium. So if you're a Wolverines fan, it's great to see the representation here tonight supporting our team. You know, for the Wolverines, this is a big game. They control their own destiny, like I mentioned early in the game. If they want to have a chance at winning the Big Ten Conference and making the college football playoffs, this game is a must-have. I think if they drop this game, there's pretty much no shot of them making the college football playoffs, no shot of them making the Big Ten Conference Championship. So big implications for the Wolverines season on the line here tonight. Spartans, they have a lot to win for in terms of, you know, pride and just making this fan base happy. Jonathan Smith, we kind of mentioned it, on the hot seat by some people, so this would be a big win. Obviously, no matter what the records are, a rivalry game always important to the fans. So our Spartans win here tonight would really get it going for Spartans fans. I know they've dropped the last 4, all of them being in Big Ten Conference play, but this would be a great bounce-back spot for them. Kind of set them on the right track for a bowl game this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, Michigan really cannot afford to lose another game on the season if it wants to stop hanging on to its hope at making it to the Big Ten.
Yeah, they control their own destiny, but this is a must-have here tonight.
Absolutely, yes. Michigan, if Michigan does win out, assuming that does include a win over possibly number 1 ranked Ohio State, that will probably be enough to do it, but even one loss would likely take them out of the equation.
Yeah. I think 9-3 won't make it. I think if we win out 10-2 with the win against Ohio State, the Wolverines will be able to make the college football playoff. College football playoff contention probably not in the books anymore for the Spartans, but, you know, big game on the line for them, bowl game implications.
Absolutely, and if Michigan State can dig in deep and then secure the upset later tonight, that could be huge, as you said, in terms of getting on track to at least getting to bowl eligibility, and we'll figure heavily into bowl consideration later on.
Yeah. And between this rivalry, like we said, 3 straight wins by the Wolverines. Last win for the Spartans was here in East Lansing in 2021. So this crowd is hoping for the upset tonight.
Absolutely, yes. As Keale and I will be with you for just the last 2 minutes of today, and then we're going to turn it over to the equally, if not more talented, Zack and Gavin. Zack on play-by-play, Gavin in color. They will take you through the second half as we are geared towards what looks to be a potentially exciting finish here in Spartan Stadium. And obviously last season's game, 24-17, went down to the wire, ended in, you know, with a bit of friction in terms of the Colson Loveland chirp at the end and the allegations of fighting on Kalel Mullings. And each of the past 3 rivalry games have indeed ended in some form of scuffle. So we do hope for all parties involved that today ends on a bit more of a friendly note. Maybe they don't need to be holding hands and singing Kumbaya to end their time on the field, but at least let's hope for no fighting, no punches thrown.
I think competition is always great, but just doing it in a friendly way. No fighting on the field, please.
Like we mentioned, there are a lot of ties binding both of these fan bases. I'm sure most of you who are born and raised in Michigan know somebody who went to state, who maybe you yourself were transferred from state. Maybe you listening to this are a state alum who did a grad program at Michigan. I think, as I said, there's a lot of commonalities between these fan bases, and I think rivalries are good, but I think it is better for the state of Michigan that this stay a friendly rivalry, at least in football.
Yes.
In basketball, where that rivalry is a little bit more heated, especially with the recent resurgence of the Wolverines basketball program under Dusty May.
Shout out Dusty May.
There's a little bit more contention there, but I hope in general for just good fun and for everybody involved to enjoy their time, you know, taking part in either Michigan or Michigan State athletics. Because you have 2 great programs that represent this great state, this state that I've adopted and come to call my home these past 3 years. And yeah, with that will be me signing off. Vihaan Easwar from Play-by-Play. Keale Chang has been with you on color. And yeah, we are going to leave you all with a good night and a go blue as Zack and Gavin have you from here, right here on WCBN Sports. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you very much, Vihaan and Keale, for your excellent commentary in that first half. I'm Zack Schteingart. Joining me shortly will be the East Lansing native, Gavin Briggs, and we're thrilled to be taking you through the rest of the way home in this one for WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan football live from Spartan Stadium here in East Lansing. As we welcome Gavin here into the booth now. Gavin, how are you feeling about your homecoming game this weekend?
I think that the Michigan Wolverines, they have looked a little ugly on offense, but I think that this offense can get back moving. We need a defensive stop early on here, but I think that they can, come into this second half, make a couple plays, maybe force a turnover again, and feel good.
Yes, so the Wolverines got off to quite a fast start in this one. They forced a strip sack of Aiden Childs on the first drive, turn that into 3 points. Then they get the rushing touchdown courtesy of the quarterback, Bryce Underwood. But since then, they've kind of been a little stagnant on offense, really not much to speak of on either side of the ball. The defense lets up a very long touchdown drive that the Spartans turn into points, and that is what brings us to this very slim 10-7 lead here for the Wolverines as they'll look to come out of the locker room to build on that lead and protect it. And Gavin, what did you see from the Wolverines' offensive approach in that half? It seemed like they were relying a little bit more on the passing game than they have in the last few games. Again, a lot of very short looks, which has kind of become the norm for this offense. But last game, they passed the ball really well. Bryce Underwood, 2 touchdowns through the air, and it really looks like they're trying to build on that now, coming into this game in a tough environment against their heated in-state rival. What do you think they need to do in the second half to kind of open up the lead a bit and maybe get a little bit of creativity going in on the offense?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, the running game has not necessarily been as fruitful as it has been the last few weeks. Justice Haynes with 50 yards in the first half, though. No big carries, long just of 9, but he's averaging 4.5 yards per carry. Got to hope that they can get that offensive line moving, get some the O-line, get some push up the middle, move that Michigan State D-line. Got to go back to Michigan football. What we do well is we run the ball, so got to see that in the second half. But like you said, Bryce Underwood, we've definitely thrown the ball a good portion, 15 attempts so far, just completed 7 of those. He's made some good throws, and there's been a few that are just missed. I think that if the team moves into the second half and they start to make some plays, they can get a long drive going. I think that they can chew up some clock, get a long drive going, and this momentum will swing back in the Wolverines' favor.
Yeah, you touched on Underwood's stats a little bit. Just to go over the official numbers, Underwood is 7 of 15 for 59 yards and a 47% completion rate. 2 carries, though, not for 19 yards, including the 13-yard touchdown, which is the Wolverines' only end zone trip of the night so far. On the other side for the Spartans, Aiden Childs just 4 of 13 for 26 yards. So the Spartan offense has certainly gotten a lot of opportunities to capitalize on the Wolverines' offensive stagnation, but they really have not been able to do much or really threaten the Wolverines in their side of the field. What do you see them, Aiden Childs, and his offense needing to do to maybe make this turn the tide in their favor?
Yeah, so Michigan State has struggled a lot through their passing game today. Childs had that early fumble. He also has only completed 30% of his passes today. 4 for 13 for just 26 yards. They've targeted Nick Marsh a lot, just yet to get a lot of production out of that receiver room. Childs has missed a few passes. A couple have been batted down. The Michigan DBs have played great, but yeah, they need to complete a couple more of those passes, maybe get a little short, get some of those 5-yard gains on the passing plays, get Childs more comfortable, get that team settled in, and you can make plays just going 3-4 yards at a time.
Spartan offense trotting back out onto the field now with just a little over 5 minutes to go until we get the second half kicked off and underway here. It is a very chilly night here in East Lansing, but the fans have really showed out for both sides. It is a packed house. I do not see one empty seat here at Spartan Stadium today, and that's really what we've come to expect out of rivalry games. The fans are always going to show up no matter the record, and this rivalry means a lot to both sides. And with it being an in-state rivalry, very, very classic rivalry, and of course the Paul Bunyan Trophy on the line. The Wolverines trying to keep him in Ann Arbor, the Spartans looking to take him back. Wolverines, as a reminder, currently hold a 3-game win streak over the Spartans, with the Spartans' last win coming right here in East Lansing in 2021 when that was a top 10 matchup, and they won that in a thriller thanks to Kenneth Walker's 5-touchdown performance.
Yeah, Michigan State, their best years have definitely been built on that run-heavy offense. Today they have had a decent production from their running back room. That big carry from Frazier really made the difference in that first half. That was a part of that scoring drive that you alluded to earlier. That drive lasted almost 7 minutes in that start of that second quarter, so that was big in getting them back into this game. The momentum was definitely heavily in Michigan's favor at that point, but since they got that 50-yard carry from Frazier, that has really brought them back into the game, and their sideline has been excited, and this stadium has been loud, and everyone seems to be excited for the second half, and I think the second half should be a lot of fun.
Definitely, yeah. A lot of maize dotting the stands here from just about every corner, and just for a little bit of reference, we are located right in front of a section that's got quite a bit of maize and blue in it, and this has been a very loud section, as I'm sure you listening at home have been able to hear. But like I mentioned, the fans are always going to show out for this heated rivalry game. These teams have a very long history of going at it with each other, and they're kind of on a little bit of different trajectories right now. The Spartans have struggled in their last few games, and the Wolverines got a huge bounce-back win over the Washington Huskies last week. But both of these teams, regardless of their record, would see this game as a huge statement win for the Wolverines going into an environment that's always going to be a little bit unkind to them. The Spartans looking to pull off a little bit of magic in front of their home crowd today. But it has been a very tight game here, both teams making each other fight for every inch, and that's reflected on the scoreboard in this very low-scoring half, which has kind of been the trend for the Wolverines in their last few games here. The first half, they get out to a fast start, scoring on the opening drive, but after that, they kind of just cruise through the first half without much of anything on offense, and that kind of leads to a very tight margin on the scoreboard. And that's exactly what we have here today. So they will definitely try to open up that lead a bit, and we will see how the Spartans come out. They will receive the second half kickoff, and we'll see how the Wolverines come out on defense, looking to continue what has been a relatively strong defensive performance here for them today.
Yeah, so you'd spoken about the lack of scoring in the first half, and if you go back to last week, it was a 7-7 contest against Washington going into the half, and in that second half, the Wolverines scored 17. That was a big difference in the game. The offense started moving really quickly once we got into that second half, so I think that it'll be interesting to see how the team responds. Like you said, Michigan State will receive the ball in about 40 seconds or so here, so we'll see how that offense moves, and based on that, we'll have an idea of what Michigan will do. Actually, Michigan's receiving, so Michigan will actually get their chance to receive and get that offense moving early, so we'll see how this goes. You have Marsh and Taylor, it looks to be back there to receive.
Yep. Both teams return unit out onto the field now. Just a little bit over 10 seconds left to go here until this second half kickoff. We're thrilled to have you with us wherever you may be listening from. Again, Zack, Schteingart, Gavin, Briggs. Want to thank Vihaan Easwar, our colleagues Vihaan Easwar and Keale Chang for their excellent first half coverage. But we can't wait to get this second half started and see how this one plays out. So the Spartans will be kicking off. It'll be... And we are underway here in the second half with a line drive boot that'll come out to the 5-yard line. Marshall will field it at just past the 10, tries to turn the corner around the left side, has some room, looks to angle toward the sideline, but he'll be tripped up at the 30-yard line where Underwood and this offense will get to work.
Yeah, that's Darius Snow on the kick team, it looks to be. Tripping up Marsh. Blocking was pretty good there. Looked like he might have had a gap, but good job from the coverage team to make a play.
Tried to turn the corner a little bit to find the angle along the sideline, but as you said, a very good play by the Spartan special team unit to prevent that from occurring. So Bryce Underwood takes the field once again now. It'll be Justice Haynes lined up to his right in the pistol formation, 3 receivers out wide. Underwood will take the snap and give it straight up to Haynes up the middle. Has a huge hole, and he'll be stopped right at the 50-yard line. Looked like he might have had a chance to break that one all the way. The hole opened up immediately, and Justice Haynes hit that burst. Gets all the way out to the 50-yard line. Channing Goodwin going in motion. Underwood will take the snap, give it once again to Haynes, who tests the left side this time. Has another hole, breaks a tackle. He's off and running down the sideline, and he will be brought down just past the 25-yard line. Back-to-back explosive runs for Justice Haynes, setting the Wolverines up very close to the red zone.
Yeah, and I think you also have line there. Great blocking. This team, but back-to-back plays to start the second half. This offensive line has looked good, giving Haynes a chance to make some good runs.
The holes have been right there for Justice Haynes, and he's taken advantage of it. It's Marshall now who checks into the backfield to Underwood's right in the pistol. Motion over Samaj Morgan. Underwood will take the snap, gives it off to Marshall, trying to test the left side, but not much doing for him there as the Spartans converge after letting up 2 big run plays. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Yeah, good job from the Spartan defense. You get a little bit of pressure from that right side of the offensive line, and you have that left side of the defense converging in and making the tackle.
13:08 to go here in this third quarter. The Wolverines getting a nice drive going here. Underwood will take the snap from the pistol. He'll fake the handoff. Has a lot of time to throw. Little pump fake going toward the sideline. He was looking in the direction of Marlon Klein, who was double covered, and the ball sailed out of bounds. It'll be 3rd down and 8 now for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Underwood had a little bit of pressure early on there. Spun around, had a pump fake, didn't really have much there. Tried to get it to Klein, but looked more of it like he tried to throw it out of bounds.
3rd down, and the crowd really letting the Wolverines hear it. Underwood will line up in the pistol with the shotgun with Marshall to his left. He takes the snap, looking left all the way. The pressure comes right away. The ball gets knocked out of his hands, and the Spartans pick it up and are running with it to the 45-yard line. And that is a huge stop for this Spartans team, knocking it out to get their offense the ball back and stop the Wolverines from opening up this half with a huge momentum-shifting swing. But they'll get the momentum back for themselves now as they get the strip sack on Underwood.
Yeah, I mean, he was starting to get ready to throw, but you get Malcolm Bell in there right as Underwood is about to throw the ball. He's able to knock it out, and you have Jordan Hall able to make the play as the middle linebacker coming in and get the ball.
But a penalty will be called here on, I believe it may be
offside on Michigan State. So Michigan will actually retain the ball here.
Yes, the interception gets negated. A big break there for the Wolverines and a crushing blow there to the Spartans, who really made this crowd come alive with what would have been a huge momentum-turning play. They got even a little bit with the Wolverines, who forced a strip sack on Childs. Almost got one back there, but the penalty call will negate that.
Yeah, that is a ginormous play for the Wolverines. Got lucky with that one. And here they are.
So now they'll get a second chance on 3rd and 3 here from the 16-yard line with 12:46 to go here in the third. Underwood will line up in the shotgun with Haynes to his right. 2 receivers out wide on each side. And Underwood will take the snap. It's a give to Haynes, who goes left right away. Going toward the sideline, he'll be forced out at around the 10-yard line with a first down. And just when the Wolverines thought they were stuffed and gave the ball right back to the Spartans, they now have a prime opportunity to punch it in here.
Yeah, I mean, smart decision from Haynes. You get good blocking, just pick up the first down, get out of bounds. Looks like there's an injured Spartan on the play. It seems to be number 5, Jordan Hall, the linebacker out of IMG Junior.
So the Wolverines, when we come back from the timeout, will have a first and goal, I should say, from the 10-yard line. And this, we were talking about it, Gavin. This is what we were expecting to see from the Wolverines, a fast start here in the second half, which has been a noticeable pattern in their last few games. This time they're going right into the teeth of this Spartan home crowd. And so far they've handled the noise very well. It's actually been the Spartans who, on a couple of instances, have fallen victim to the noise of this home crowd.
Yeah, I mean, as we spoke about during halftime, we expected this team to start to run the ball again, impose their will on the Michigan State defense, and they have done that early on. Obviously, you have that fumble, but with that penalty negating it, it makes such a difference, and picking up that first down really brings that momentum back in the favor. And Michigan State has 7 penalties so far in this game. That has been the story of the game, is the lapses in judgment. You have the delay of game early on. You have a false start as well, multiple unsportsmanlike conducts and personal fouls, and then you have that big offsides just a couple plays ago.
A lot of miscues for the Spartans on both sides of the ball, including special teams, which had those 2 back-to-back penalties. I kind of backed them up a little bit. But, Gavin, this has been a very physical game so far. The officials have been very content with letting these guys go at it with these one-on-one contested balls. There have been a few instances where the Spartan crowd has maybe wanted to see a little bit of yellow laundry on the field, but for the most part, not too many very tight calls. The pass interference call in the end zone was about as clear as you could get. Yeah. But other than that, the officials seem to understand the intensity of this rivalry, and they're letting these guys get chippy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is has to be a point of emphasis with any rivalry game, especially one like this. It's going to be chippy. You're going to have guys get in each other's faces. There will be pushing and shoving, but it's also important to keep your cool as a ref and keep your cool as the players and try and make everyone have a good, fun game out there, but keep it competitive.
So the Wolverines getting back to the line now with a new set of downs and goal to go. Underwood will line up in the shotgun, takes the snap, gives it right off to Haynes, who darts up the middle, and he'll be down to the 5-yard line of the Spartans with 12:17 to go in the third.
Yeah, I mean, it's been huge to see this offensive line make some plays. Obviously, you lose Evan Link at left tackle last week to an injury. Blake Frazier has stepped in, and he has done a great job so far. Did a great job last week. Had a couple plays earlier today, but looked good.
3 receivers out wide. Now Bredesen motions in. Underwood will take the snap, give it off to Haynes, who has nothing but green grass ahead, and he'll strut on into the end zone for a Michigan touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen this play time and time again from Justice Haynes. You have the offensive line just blocking straight up the middle. It may be designed to go up the middle, but he has the vision to cut it outside. There's no defenders. Like you said, green grass, big play from the Michigan Wolverines, big drive. You have that mistake with the fumble, but you come back, you hit Michigan State in the mouth, and that's what you need to do in the second half.
9th touchdown of the year for Justice Haynes. He has scored in every game he has played. Probably the Wolverine, as the extra point is good here for Zavada, and the lead is out to 17-7 with 11:50 to go in the third. And Haynes has brought so much life to this Wolverine offense. That explosive playability is always there. He's broken off several 50-plus yard touchdown runs, but he can get you those types of runs even if he doesn't get in the end zone. But picking him up from Alabama, no question about it, has been the Wolverines' most impactful offseason pickup in the portal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's been great. You really could tell how much of a difference he's made. You had great running back play from Khalil Mullings last year. You have Donovan Edwards in his moments last season, looked great, but Justice Haynes is so dynamic as a runner, and you see the vision and you see that burst when he gets out into the second level. He's been great for this team. I think he really did have a lot of a Heisman candidacy early on in the season. Obviously, you missed time with injury. That kind of hurts your chances, but he's looked great.
Yeah, Haynes has to be right there in the thick of the Heisman conversation for sure. Really making such a huge impact on the Wolverines with that big play ability. And he has just been an absolutely tremendous new addition to the Wolverines this season thus far.
Yeah, I mean, not the only new addition to this team. I mean, for the most part, he's been the biggest guy for the team in the transfer portal. But you have a lot of new starters at many positions. Obviously, you have the freshman Bryce Underwood, who everyone knows real well. You also have Andrew Marsh, the true freshman wide receiver, who has looked great the last few weeks coming into a starting role. You also have the other big transfer this offseason, Donovan McCulley, transferring in from Indiana, who was huge for them 2 seasons ago. But, yeah, I mean, I think that what you really notice with this team is the offense has more guidance and leadership. And I feel like Bryce Underwood has done a great job leading this team as a true freshman coming in. He looks calm all of the time when he's out there on the field. You know he can make any throw in the book, and he'll show you.
All of those leadership qualities just so important for a quarterback to have, especially when he is a true freshman coming in with all these expectations as the #1 recruit in the country, one of the highest rated in the history of this storied Wolverine football program. But so far, he has lived up to all those expectations and really done a great job managing the pressure from the fans, the coaches, whoever, and it has really borne fruit for the Wolverines. Beckham Sunderland out there now to send it back to the Spartans. And on the subject of McCulley as well, he has definitely firmly established himself as that receiving presence the Wolverines sorely missed last season, as the kickoff is away, and it will sail through the back of the end zone for a touchback, bringing Aiden Childs and this struggling Spartan offense out to the 25-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that last drive from Michigan will swing that momentum back towards the Wolverines' favor. But heading into late in that second half, you really could tell that this stadium was getting excited. The offense was moving a little bit on the ground. Childs still struggled heavy in that first half. Passing has not had a lot of completions, as we talked about at halftime, and had that fumble early on.
Childs will line up out of the shotgun formation with Mekhi Frazier to his left. Frazier will take the handoff, and he is met in the backfield immediately. Not much going there. Converging right there on the tackle is Jayshawn Barham, and TJ Metcalf coming up from his safety spot.
Yeah, this Wolverines defense, something you'll notice a lot when you watch these games, they rotate at every position, and you will see so many different faces at so many different times.
Barham, of course, recently making the move to edge rusher, where he has certainly thrived this season. Childs will now line up in the empty set with four receivers out, 2 on each side. He'll take the snap, looking right, and he gets it to the tight end, Jack Velling, who is tackled immediately by Jimmy Rolder. He'll get out just past the 35-yard line, and it will be 3rd down for the Spartans with 10:55 to go.
Yeah, I mean, Velling has not had very – I don't know that he has
It'll be a first down for the Spartans.
Yeah, I mean, Velling has been the big tight end. He came in last season with Childs from Oregon State and Jonathan Smith as well.
Quite a few Oregon State transfers on this team following their coach Jonathan Smith as Childs takes the snap. Pressure coming immediately. He's flushed out right. He'll have to just get rid of it out of bounds where it flutters toward the stands. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Spartans coming up.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of time there. You have Derek Moore rushing, and you have to get that ball out. You don't want to take the sack there. Live to fight for another down.
So the Spartans will break the huddle now. Childs once again lines up in the empty set. 2 receivers out right, 3 bunched up out to the left. And Childs will take the quarterback power. Not much going there. Wolverines converge on him very quickly. The Spartans really like to run that quarterback draw play with Childs. He has that big play running ability, and it has worked several times for them so far this season, but the Wolverines there to meet that one quickly. As the Spartans will get back to the line quickly. This time they bring Mekhi Frazier into the backfield next to Childs. 3 receivers out wide. Childs will take the snap. Has some time in the pocket. Now gets flushed out. Being chased toward the sideline. He'll have to get rid of it again. And the pressure for the Wolverines just stifling on that series. It'll be 4th and 9, and the punt unit will come out for the Spartans.
Yeah, the Michigan defense stepped up big there. 2 big plays in pass rush, forcing Childs to throw the ball out of bounds. And, that's just what you need to see from this team. You have a scoring drive to start the half. You get a big stop to the first offensive series for Michigan State, and you can receive the punt and get another drive going.
Derek Moore and Jayshawn Barham were living in the backfield on that possession as the punt is away. It is a high boot running up to make the fair catch at around the 23-yard line is Samaj Morgan, where Underwood and the Wolverines will come back out looking to sustain the momentum they gained on that last scoring drive.
Yeah, we will see how this offense looks heading into their second drive, but I think that, you saw a lot of good things from that first drive of the half. You have the running game getting established. I would expect to see a lot more running, but I would expect to see maybe a deep ball thrown in there. While Michigan State's going to be keyed in on the run, you may see a play-action deep ball here.
The run game could not have gotten off to a better start to this half with the 2 big runs by Haynes on the first 2 plays, and, of course, the touchdown run as Underwood will line up in the shotgun with Haynes to his right. Bredesen goes in motion. It'll be a give to Haynes, who has another big hold toward the left sideline, but the Spartans are there to close that hole quickly as he'll get out just past the 20-yard line. I believe it will be just a gain of, actually a loss of 1 there for Justice Haynes. Not much doing for him there. 2nd and 11 now with 9:17 to go in this 17-7 ball game.
Yeah, it was a great play from the Michigan State defense. Converged there. Wayne Matthews forces him out.
Underwood now lines up in the shotgun once again with Haynes to his right. 2 receivers out wide on the left. Marsh all by himself on the right. Samaj Morgan motions inside. Underwood will give the delayed handoff to Haynes. That time he gets a little bit of yardage, but he gets driven back after getting stood up. I believe they will give him about 3 or 4 yards on that one, but it'll bring just 1 yard, but it'll bring up 3rd down and a long 10 here for the Wolverines, and the crowd getting into it now, trying to influence the Wolverines' next play here.
Yeah, I mean, you'd expect a throw here. We're going to see the team in a trip set as well.
Yep, trips right. 2 receivers out right. It is Morgan and Marsh as Underwood lines up out of the shotgun. Clapson takes the snap, tries to take off up the middle, has some room, and he makes a cut and dives out to the 30-yard line. He'll be marked just short of the 1st down. But a great job by Bryce Underwood to keep that play alive, but he was met just a couple of yards short of where he needed to go for to pick up the first down, and the punt unit will come out with Hudson Hollenbeck for the Wolverines. As Hollenbeck will get the kick away, line drive boot, and letting it sail over his head. This one may get a great bounce for the Wolverines, and it'll be downed at the 2-yard line. A fantastic job there by Hudson Hollenbeck and the Wolverines coverage team to get there, backing the Spartans up all the way to their own end zone.
Yeah, Hollenbeck has honestly looked really good today. He has had some struggles early on in this season, but that was a big punt to pin Michigan State inside their own 5, and that's a really tough drive to start. It's really hard to start inside your own 5-yard line and get a long drive going. So we'll see how the Michigan State offense will attack this. You'd expect a couple early runs, kind of to feel out what will happen there. You don't want to take a sack and end up in a safety. So this will be an interesting decision here. The offensive play callers will have to figure that out in this media timeout.
This will be the Spartans' worst starting field position of the night, and we'll see what offensive strategy they come out with to flip the field a little bit. And, the Michigan offense really sticking to their morals there, giving it a run play on each of their 3 plays on the last possession. They're trying to stick with it as it's heating up a little bit here, especially on their first possession of the half. But, Gavin, I'm interested to hear from you. Do you think they're going to keep relying on Haynes as the primary bell cow, or do you think they're going to get Jordan Marshall mixed in there? A big game last week in Haynes' absence. Maybe they want to keep him rolling a little bit and switch it up.
Yeah, so it's often this season there's been a lot of swapping per drive. You'll see Haynes maybe take a full drive, and you'll see Marshall and Haynes kind of split carries the next drive. They like to kind of keep them at least each set of downs before swapping. So we may see a couple early carries from Marshall, and it'll depend on how he does. We'll see if they move back to Haynes after that. I really think that they may start to let Underwood throw the ball a little more in this second half. I mean, you have the quarterback, you have the young player who has performed well. He had a great game against Washington last week, the best of his young career. And I think that you continue to let him loose, and I think that they have slowly but surely let him settle in, let him make some big plays, let him throw the ball, and you see his prowess as a runner as well. You see that decision to run the ball late there on that 3rd down on the last drive. You also saw him carry for a touchdown on the drive before. Trust your guy, and I think that this team can make some adjustments on offense, and they can really trust their guy.
One thing to know, we haven't seen a lot of passes very far downfield. They've kind of been sticking with the short game, but Underwood has certainly proven that he can let that ball fly. So we'll see if they open up the passing game a little bit more, maybe get their 2 main targets in McCulley and Marsh involved, as Childs will take the snap out of his own end zone and give it off to Mekhi Frazier, as he'll get only a gain of that is Brandon Tullis. He'll get a gain of only about 2.
Yeah, great job from Etta there. Big defensive tackle, making the play up the middle, stopping him short. Just allowing that short gain as we will head under 7 minutes here in the 3rd quarter.
The Wolverines are certainly going to look to limit the amount of holes in the run game, as that will be what the Spartans look to rely on to get them out of this position. Childs will take the snap. He'll keep it himself, trying to make a couple moves, but that did not fool the Wolverine defenders at all, as he will be met right there in his tracks at the 4-yard line. And the Spartans are not really going forward here. It'll be 3rd down and 8 from their 5, as the Wolverine band up in their little corner over there trying to make themselves heard.
Yeah, Childs is known as a guy that can run the ball as well. I think that's been an interesting thing. Both of these running backs are mobile. But Childs, with his longest rush of just 6 today, has been unable to get a lot going on the ground.
Elijah Tolliver now lines up next to Childs in the backfield. Childs will take the snap, looking over the middle, dumps it off now to Tolliver, who had it in his hands but could not corral it. He was wide open, but saw Jimmy Rolder converging on him, could not secure it. It'll be 4th down for the Spartans, who will have to punt the ball away from deep in their own end zone.
Yeah, Michigan defense has looked great in the second half. 2 big stops, with losing their breakout linebacker, Cole Sullivan. He went out early in the game, but he has, the defense has still been able to make plays, and they've been able to, stop the team short and keep Michigan State in check in this second half.
Punt's being sent away now. Pressure coming there, but Samaj Morgan will field it just short of the 50. Gets out to around the 45-yard line. Tried to run east to west there to find a hole. Not much going, but Bryce Underwood and the Wolverines will take over with relatively good field position.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can start right around your 50-yard line, you're happy. And I think that this Michigan offense, like we've said, they run the ball, and they're unapologetic about running the ball. So
always have been.
Yeah, and we'll likely see that early on. I'd expect an early carry from either Haynes or Marshall. I think that they're looking to show Michigan State that they are the bigger team, that they want to hold the line of scrimmage, that they want to dominate the line of scrimmage. And I think that has been the biggest piece of this second half, especially defensively, is the defensive line for Michigan has looked great. They're stopping every run short. They're not allowing Michigan State to get much going. When you're in Division I football, you're in Big Ten football, you're going to have big offensive linemen, you're going to have big defensive linemen. But making those plays that Michigan has on the defensive line has been huge in stopping this Michigan State offensive attack in the second half.
And they've got no shortage of electrifying defensive linemen up front. Of course, we mentioned Barham, who has recently moved to edge and made a huge impact in that role so far. Of course, we got Derek Moore, who definitely made his presence felt on the first possession and throughout this game. And as well as the linebacker core, you touched on it a little bit with Cole Sullivan, who's certainly made an impact so far as the Wolverines' leader in interceptions. His loss has definitely been missed and will continue to be should he not return. They've also got Ernest Hausman and Jimmy Rolder, who have each made their own large impacts on this defensive front. But the Wolverines have got a lot of great athletes on that side of the ball that really have just such a great nose for the football, can really fly on the ball. And they have done a tremendous job here tonight stopping this Spartan offense, even with their home field advantage.
Yeah, I mean, as we spoke about earlier, the depth of this Michigan defense is huge. You brought up the defensive linemen. They consistently run 5 or 6 different defensive tackles, and then you have 4 to 5 edge rushers that are constantly subbing in. I mean, you have TJ Guy, who was a huge contributor in 2023 and 2024, especially 2024. He really broke out, but he's got even less playing time as you bring in Jayshawn Barham into that edge group. And, I think it's huge to see that difference makers from the edge. The fact that you can have a contributor from last season limit his touches this year and still be so consistent.
Underwood and the Wolverines offense back out there now from the 47-yard line, as it'll be another give to Haynes, who picks his way forward past midfield out to around the 48-yard line of the Spartans. It'll be 2nd and 7 with 5:33 to go in this third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, you see on this next play, it looks like they're bringing in 2 new players for Marsh and McCulley. You have Jalen Hoffman coming in at tight end, and you have Channing Goodwin coming in. I'm going to expect another run here from this Michigan offense.
Channing Goodwin certainly a promising talent at the receiver position, as Underwood claps and hands it off once again to Haynes. Runs straight up the middle. He'll get out to around the 44-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and 2 for this Wolverines offense. And the Spartan crowd will really come alive now.
Yeah, Michigan State, they have started to allow a little more rushing yards in the second half. That first half they did a decent job holding the Michigan offense, but Haynes is now over 120 yards on the game with those couple big carries early on especially.
Underwood will take the snap, give it off to Haynes once again. He sticks his head down and looks like he'll be close to the first down. No signal yet. They'll give it to him. It'll be a first down for the Wolverines and Justice Haynes, who has really been the big bell cow on this possession so far. All handoffs to him.
Yeah, as we spoke about earlier, you do have Jordan Marshall in this group, but with how much of a difference maker Haynes has been this season, it's hard to not just consistently give him the ball. Yeah.
So Underwood will line up now in the pistol. Haynes behind him standing at the Spartan logo at midfield. Underwood will take the snap, fakes the handoff this time, looking deep, and the catch is made by McCauley, who breaks a tackle, and he'll be chased down from behind. That is Andrew Marsh with the big play running free for the Wolverines. He'll set them up inside the red zone. Huge play there for the Wolverines, and Marsh has really established himself as a receiving threat for this offense.
Yeah, that freshman to freshman connection, that is a great sign for any Michigan fan out there. Andrew Marsh out of Texas, he has been great this season. He's really stepped up since they put him into that starting role, and he has looked great the last few weeks.
The Wolverines' 2 freshmen on offense making a difference. Underwood will take the snap now. Another give to Haynes, who cuts it outfield, and he will walk on in, finding the corner and strutting on in for another Michigan touchdown. Justice Haynes, second of the game, extends the lead to 23-7 for the Wolverines with the extra point forthcoming. The Wolverines' home run hitter knocking it out of the park once again.
Yeah, Justice Haynes is such an elite athlete. He is a phenomenal player, and he has looked great all season long. This is so huge for the team to get him back after missing last week, and he has looked great. He does not look like there was any injury.
Zavada now out there for the extra point. It sails right down the middle, and it is now a 17-point lead for the Wolverines with 3:08 to go, courtesy of 2 huge touchdown runs by Justice Haynes, who has really made his presence felt in the second half after being kind of slowed down a little bit in the first half, but he has come alive, as has this Wolverines offense, especially in the receiving game. We were talking about it, maybe trying to get the passing game open up a little bit. They found Marsh down the field. He found the soft spot in the zone. But again, as we were talking about earlier, the Wolverines in the second half, even if they start the game slow, they'll come out of the locker room looking like a completely different team. And that's exactly what they've done so far, opening up a 24-7 lead.
Yeah, that play to Marsh there was really the big difference maker in that drive. The offense was moving, but you have that 20-plus yard catch by Marsh. Great throw from Underwood, great play calling, and it really just makes a difference when you can get that passing game involved.
Sunderland will send it back to the Spartans now as the kick is away. And this one will once again sail through the end zone for a touchback. And this Spartan offense has to respond quickly, or this game could get ugly very quick.
Yeah, if you just look at the third quarter stats for both teams, you have Michigan with 125 total yards. You have 98 of those coming from the ground alone. And that one passing play of 27 yards to Marsh is the only completed pass of the half and the only passing yards. So this is huge to see that 125 yards, just 16 from the Michigan State offense.
Childs will line up out of the shotgun, 2 receivers out wide on the right. He'll take the snap, gives out the handoff, and met in the backfield immediately for a loss, being thrown down to the ground there at the end as well. Looks like that was Mekhi Frazier being driven backwards. It'll be second down and 11 now for the Spartans at the 24-yard line with just a little under 3 minutes to go, 2:46 here in the third quarter.
Yeah, this Michigan defense has held the line of scrimmage in the second half. They have decided that they are not going to allow any more rushing yards. That has been huge from this Michigan defense, and what a big play.
Childs and Frazier side by side once again in the backfield. Childs will take the snap looking left, gets the pass complete to the tight end Jack Velling, who will be chased out of bounds close to the first down marker. Looks like he may have been a little bit short. We will see what the official ruling is. Yes, he's just a bit short. It'll be 3rd and 2 now for the Spartans.
Yeah, the defender making that play, making the tackle on that one is going to be Troy Bowles. He is he has been the guy that has stepped in for Cole Sullivan after he left with injury. He's a junior. He actually transferred from Georgia.
Childs will take the snap, gets it out quickly to Elijah Tolliver, sticks his head down on Jair Hill before getting knocked out of bounds. And it looks like he'll have enough for the first down there. Again, this rivalry, you can always expect the players to get physical, and that is exactly what Tolliver did, sticking his head down on one of the Wolverines' best corners, and that works out for him.
You know, I think one of the most impressive things about this Michigan team is they are the youngest group of starters in the Big Ten. So this has been huge to see all the production from all the young players.
Empty set once again for the Spartans. Now he'll motion over Brandon Tullis for the shotguns as the Let's Go Blue chants ring out. Childs will take the snap and fake the handoff. Pressure's coming right away from TJ Guy, and he'll get the sack on Childs as he'll drive him all the way back, and he is feeling himself right there. A huge play there to get into the backfield. And once again, the Wolverines' deep linebacking core making their presence felt. Just a little under a minute to go here in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's that defensive line. You have Derek Moore with the early pressure there, and then TJ Guy comes flying out of nowhere and makes the play on Childs for the huge sack.
Guy gets home, chasing Childs all the way back. It'll be second down here for the Spartans. Another empty set here for Childs. They've run that package quite a bit in this game. He'll take the snap, has some time now, fires over the middle, and the catch is made for Nick Marsh, who breaks a tackle, and he'll get out close to the 50-yard line. Childs, precise there, finds this offense's number one receiver, Nick Marsh, who has certainly seen his fair share of targets in this one.
Yeah, I mean, just as you said that, he has 9 targets on the game. That is going to be just his 3rd catch. But that was a huge play for the Michigan State offense to get that first down.
Childs now will take the snap, gets it out quickly toward the right side to Marsh again. That time Jair Hill is right there to meet him and shove him backwards. It'll be a gain of about 3. It'll be no gain, and this will be a timeout called here.
The third quarter ended there. That's going to be our time.
That'll call the end of the third quarter, as both teams will now get a chance to talk things over on their respective sidelines. And the Spartans maybe getting a little bit of a possession going here, trying to fight their way back into this one. Certainly trying to get Nick Marsh involved, which they've tried to do all game. You mentioned he's had 10 targets so far, but only 4 receptions. We were talking about it in the first half, the matchup that we were seeing there with Jair Hill on him. Hill was certainly doing a great job of making sure he didn't get any separation, but he's been able to have a few catches that really made a big impact for the Spartans, as we saw them get the first down on that last play.
Yeah, that was a massive play for the Michigan State offense. You have that 2nd and 19 after the sack. You know, that could be a drive killer. You don't, any sack makes the team struggle. You know, it makes the team down on themselves. But to respond how Childs and Marsh did, and Marsh over the middle, making the play, getting the first down, that's huge for the Michigan State offense if they want to keep this drive going. And as you said, back-to-back plays to Marsh.
Marsh has been the leading receiver for this Spartan offense. And we were talking about it earlier. There's a lot of Marshes and Marshalls running around for both sides all over the field today. But each of them have certainly made a huge impact on their respective teams. And the Wolverines are hoping that their Marsh and Marshall can get going here in this second half to kind of pad this lead so they can drive on home with the win and keep Paul Bunyan in Ann Arbor for another year.
Yeah, I mean, as you said earlier, 3 straight for the Michigan Wolverines. They want to make it 4. This is a huge game for both sides. We talked a little bit about the difference of the outlooks for both teams. You have Michigan, who has, those 2 somewhat ugly losses to Oklahoma and USC, but this and the Washington game could be games that get the team back on track, and they will have their sights set on finishing out the season strong and looking for a playoff spot. Michigan State, in this one, they're fighting. They do not want to lose this game. This is huge for them. They are trying to right their ship for themselves. They started the season 3-0, beating Western Michigan, Boston College, and Youngstown State, and then they have been 0-4 so far in their Big Ten play, with their lone competitive game being against Nebraska. So they really need to get this game to get back on track. The Big Ten it's important for every team in the Big Ten to win games in there, and so they're trying to get the ship back righted, and this would be a huge game for them if they could make some decisions and come back.
Yeah, you mentioned the 4-game losing streak for the Spartans. Their last 2 especially definitely stung. The big loss to UCLA at home, but this would definitely be, if they're able to rally here, this would be a big statement for them. And they're currently putting a little bit of a drive together. Got the ball right around midfield, offense moving crisply, and we'll see how they come out of the timeout. As the 4th quarter gets underway here at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, we want to remind you that you're listening to WCBN FM Ann Arbor. Zack Schteingart and Gavin Briggs here with you, as Aiden Childs will line up under center, trying to communicate with his guys at the line. Tao Tolliver lines up behind him, and he'll take the snap and get it out quickly to Krishan McCray, who's wrapped up immediately by TJ Metcalf, who is amped up about that one. He read that one perfectly. Childs got the ball out right away. They were looking to catch the Wolverines defense off guard, but they were right there waiting for that one.
Yeah, massive play from TJ Metcalf, another big transfer for the Michigan Wolverines. He came over from Arkansas, making plays. He's been great for this team, and I think that he has been a huge difference maker for the team.
3rd down and 5 from the 48 of the Wolverines for the Spartans. It's Childs lining up in the shotgun with Tao Tolliver. He'll take the snap, tries to take off up the middle, makes a cut, and he'll fall forward, trying to make a cut on Brandon Hillman out there. It looks like he'll have a first down as the Spartans keep the drive alive.
Yeah, big play from Aiden Childs. You're seeing that running game there. Great job.
Childs will now get right back up to the line quickly, hand it off to Tao Tolliver, who picks his way straight up the middle, and he'll get out to around the 35-yard line, gain of about 5 for the Spartans, with 13:43 to go here in this 24-7 ball game, as we have just gotten the 4th underway. Childs will take the snap, tries to fire it toward the left side, and the catch is made, and picking up the first down there will be Omari Kelly, who had the much contested catch in the first half. That is certainly going to be a play we're going to look back on at the conclusion of this one. But that time, no doubt about that one, he'll get the catch for the first down, and that'll move the chains for the Spartans.
Yeah, great play from Kelly there. Just sits in the middle of the field. Childs is patient, gets it to him, picks up the first down, and this Michigan State team is moving fast as they're down 3 scores and need to get moving.
Yep, Childs will get right back up to the line in the shotgun. A little bit of movement there for the Wolverines as Childs will take the snap, lobbing one deep toward the end zone, and the catch is made by Marsh just at the goal line, and they will give him the touchdown. A huge throw and catch there for the Wolverines. Nick Marsh making his presence felt once again as the Wolverines let up a big hole in their secondary. Childs is able to make the read and find Marsh down there in the corner of the right corner of the end zone, and that is a huge score to get the Spartans right back in this one at 24-13.
Yeah, that's a massive play from the Michigan State Spartans. You have the wheel route from Nick Marsh on the right side. Great throw from Childs. Throw it just short of the end zone. Let Marsh get in. Great play for the Michigan State Spartans. And he caught that one with Jaden Mangum right there, the former Michigan State Spartan. He spent 2023 with Michigan State, transferred to Michigan last season, was only able to participate in one game as he dealt with injuries. But he has been a rotational piece in the secondary for Michigan this year. And Marsh may have been short as they show the replay there. The ball may have been just short of the end zone. We're going to see what the officials decide here.
Yeah, from our viewpoint up here, it looked like he may have stepped out of bounds on the 1-inch line before the ball was able to cross the plane. So definitely they'll take a deep look at this to make sure they get it right. But definitely a great throw and catch there from Childs to Marsh. The timing route catches Jaden Mangum sleeping, and he's able to bang him out of bounds, maybe just in time to stop him from crossing the goal line. And what's a little bit interesting is that the Spartans, before they called them back for the review, looked like they were lining up to go for two. They kept the offense out there in the huddle. So we'll see if they give it to them or if they're able to punch it in here, whether they'll stick with. And they will overturn the ruling. They will rule that Marsh was just short of the goal line, but that'll set the Spartans up on the 1-inch line as they'll look to punch it in here. But Marsh, I know for sure Marsh definitely would have liked to have that one.
Yeah, I mean, that hurts for Michigan State fans, but at the end of the day, you're first and goal, and you'd imagine that you're going to make the play here. They're probably going to run Childs up the middle yet again.
Yep. Bunch up formation there. Childs lines up under center. He'll give it off to Brandon Tullis, who dives on in for the Spartan touchdown.
As you said earlier, no doubt about that one. Brandon Tullis right up the middle. You know, Michigan was probably keyed in on Michigan State running that QB sneak up the middle. Childs has ran that multiple times today. So you hand the ball off to Tullis. He's able to find the hole on the offensive line and do a good job getting into the end zone for Michigan State.
Doesn't get much easier than that. The hole opens up right away, and Tullis is able to just walk on in. And we'll see if the Spartans will indeed keep their offense out there. It looks like they will, to try to make this a 9-point game. Currently 24-13 with 12:34 to go here in this one.
Yeah, that is Tullis' third touchdown on the season for him. He's been a little bit more of their heavy-set power back for the team this season.
So Childs will line up in the shotgun. Mekhi Frazier checks back in. Childs will take the snap, firing toward Krishan McCray, but that pass gets batted down, and it will stay a 24-13 ball game. Definitely a little bit of an interesting choice there by Jonathan Smith to go for two, but that will not work out for them as the Wolverines will get it back, looking to pad their lead.
Yeah, I mean, so that play was broken up by Jimmy Rolder. That he has had a great last couple of weeks. We spoke a little bit about Cole Sullivan as well, who was broken out, but Jimmy Rolder at linebacker has also played phenomenally. He had an interception last week as well as to Cole Sullivan, and Jimmy Rolder had the fumble recovery early on in this game. He bats down the 2-point conversion. He has been great as the second linebacker for Michigan ever since they moved Barham to edge.
Rolder certainly making his impact felt so far. He'll need to step up in an even bigger way with the absence of Sullivan. But again, he's right there to make the play, bat that pass down, prevent the Spartans from getting that 2-point conversion. And that'll make the road to coming back in this one a little bit tougher, as you would think if they're able to hold the Wolverines here and then go down and score again, they'll have to go for two once again to make it a 3-point ball game. But instead, a little bit of a more difficult road there.
Yeah, I mean, so if we talked earlier about the struggles from the completion percentage side with Aiden Childs earlier in that first half, I mean, he's improved in the second half. He's 12 for 24 overall today. So getting up to that 50% mark, obviously, if you're a Spartans fan, if you are the Spartans as a whole, you want that to get a little higher. But, it's important to see those short plays like we talked about during halftime. They've thrown a couple, only 3-4 yard passes, 1 or 2 to Velling, as well as that first down catch from Amari Kelly. So, I mean, it's big to get those drives moving so that you can get into the end zone like that. You want to be able to slowly build towards that end zone. You don't need every play to be a big play.
Yeah, the Spartan pass game really came alive on that last possession. They were throwing many intermediate passes past the sticks, especially the deep one to the corner of the end zone to Nick Marsh. And once again, they've really done their best to get him involved in this one. That one making that last catch making a big impact there. But the Spartans definitely getting Aiden Childs a little bit more comfortable back there, getting him a little more, maybe trying to boost his confidence a little bit as well, getting him throwing those more contested balls downfield, as the special team, the return unit will come out for both teams now. The Wolverines will get the ball back shortly.
Yeah, I mean, kind of what you spoke about as well. I mean, we've talked about this a lot, but Marsh has 11 total targets on the day. They want to get him involved. He's their leading receiver. He's been great for them this season as well as last season as a true freshman. Really performed. But I think that it's huge for Michigan State to keep him involved. They've also made sure to get Velling a couple passes, the safety net target for Aiden Childs. I think that they really key in on those short passes, getting their guys involved, getting everyone ready to go, and I think that they did a great job on that drive. And I think that they're going to try and make a play as a defense here.
So Martin Connington back out there now to send it back to the Wolverines, as he'll run up to the tee, and it was a short kick. Not sure if they were trying to catch the Wolverines off guard with maybe a surprise onside there, but that one rolled right on the ground, and it'll be fielded at the 20-yard line where the Wolverines will take off. And this crowd has been, as have these announcers, been left quite confused by that decision.
Yeah, I mean, you'd assume if you're going for anything there would be some sort of onside kick, but it was a little more of a squib kick. It kind of ran along the ground, bounced a little bit. I wonder if they were planning on hitting one of those front guys and hoping that they weren't able to catch the ball there. Yeah, definitely a little interesting, and Michigan's still going to start around the 22-yard line. Very
interesting choice there to squib it if they were not trying to go for the onside kick. But nevertheless, the Wolverines will start at the 20-yard line as Underwood will take the snap and give it off. And Spartan defensive front right there in the backfield. It'll be a gain of 1 with 12:20 to go in the fourth quarter. But, yeah, going back to that kickoff, really just not quite sure what they may have been trying to do with kicking it forward instead of getting the onside try. But nevertheless, backs the Wolverines up with average field position, but they will try to flip the field here now as Underwood will take the snap and give it off. But play is blown dead due to a flag first. Looks like there may have been some movement up front. And the call is encroachment, but the referee gave the signal for false start, so a little bit of mixed communication there. But either way, it'll drive the Wolverines back 5.
Yeah, it sounded like Marlon Klein was lined up in the neutral zone. Backs the Wolverines up 5 yards, but they're going to need to get this ball moving, and I'm sure they're going to try to chew the clock a little bit here.
Jordan Marshall remains in the backfield to Underwood's left. As Channing Goodwin goes in motion, Underwood will take the snap and keep it. Met right away in the backfield, dancing around in the pocket to get away from a few tacklers. A nice job to get right back to the original line of scrimmage after it looked like he may have been wrapped up right away for a big loss. But he'll actually gain a yard out of it. It'll be 3rd and 12 now for the Wolverines.
Yeah, I mean, Underwood is not a small quarterback by any means. He's an imposing figure as a true freshman. It's impressive to be able to duck under the would-be tackler there and gain that yard, like you said. But unfortunate for the Michigan Wolverines that Michigan State was able to get in the backfield early.
Underwood now motions Marshall into the backfield as he'll take the snap, and they'll just give it right straight off to Jordan Marshall, who gains a few yards but is not able to get much beyond that. So A bit of a conservative call there on 3rd and long for the Wolverines. Looks like they might be looking to back the Spartans up on their next possession and prevent them from keeping this momentum going and maybe seizing it for themselves.
Yeah, I think a big thing with Michigan this entire season is they trust their defense a lot. And, I mean, how could you not, especially today? You know, Michigan State did score on that last drive, but the defensive line has looked great all day. I think that it's huge to allow that to happen.
Hollenbeck gets the punt away. It'll bounce at the 40-yard line and gets a little bit of a favorable bounce for the Spartans, as it will be downed at around the 42-yard line. And, yeah, I just said it. The Spartans have the momentum now with the touchdown on their last possession. They get a big stop on the Wolverines, and they'll be looking to get another sustained drive, maybe move quickly as they were on the last possession to kind of leave themselves some time to get back in it. But this Wolverine defense, we just talked about them, they will be hungry to get a stop here and drive them back, as these guys will be looking to converge on the ball quickly.
Yeah, Michigan State's still down 24-13, so not necessarily fully there yet, but they definitely do have the wind in their sails now. They've gotten their legs under them a little bit, able to throw the ball on that last drive, able to move quickly. It's huge in them having the ability to come back in this game, is being able to move the ball quickly, get on the ball. So I think that we're going to see some more of those short passes, going to try and get that first down just so they can slow down the clock a little bit there. Yeah, I think that it's going to be big for the Michigan Wolverines to continue to get that pressure. The defensive backs are going to have to play great here. I would expect to see Jair Hill again on top of Nick Marsh, and Nick Marsh is going to be the player to watch late in this game. Michigan State has shown that they are not scared to throw him the ball. They will target him often, and I think that if you're Michigan, you're going to need to key in on him, and you're going to need to stop him.
A sense of urgency, you get the feeling, has spread for both teams. The Spartans, of course, wanting to get back in this one quickly, but the Wolverines know that they're just as hungry to limit those opportunities and get out of here with a W. But we will see how this war of attrition plays out with 10:13 to go here in the fourth quarter.
You know, we spoke about the student section and the stadium as a whole. Student section kind of started to clear out early in that fourth quarter. A little interesting for Spartan Stadium, but I think that
such a pretty close game relatively too.
Yeah. I mean, 11-point game. We're going to see how this Michigan State offense comes back. They have an opportunity here. That was a big defensive stop. It was big to force Michigan into a punt. So we're going to see what they do to start this drive in just a couple seconds here.
Good field position here to start the drive for the Spartans, as they'll take over from their 41-yard line. And so Childs and the offense will get up to the line. He'll line up in the shotgun next to Mekhi Frazier. Two receivers out wide. It is McCray and Marsh on the right side. Childs will take the snap and give it straight off to Frazier, who tests the left side, has a huge hole, breaks a tackle, and still running down the left sideline, gets out past the 35-yard line before being dragged out of bounds. And just like that, the Spartans are able to get into Wolverine territory and set up a new set of downs.
Yeah, that play may have been a touchdown. Nick Marshall came from the defensive line, was able to trip him up a little bit, and the defense was able to stop him.
Spartans get back up to the line quickly once again. It's another gift to Frazier. That time, nothing doing. Met immediately there by Jimmy Rolder, as well as Damon Payne. And they wanted to make sure he did not rip off another big run, as Justice Haynes did to start this half for the Wolverines.
Yeah, something we talked about ourselves in the first half is there was a couple of missed tackles by the Michigan defense. They're going to need to stop it. They need to secure some tackles to finish out this game.
Childs lines up in the shotgun with Mekhi Frazier. Childs will take the snap, looking left, dumps it off now quickly to Velling, who gets tripped up at the 30-yard line for a gain of 6, and that'll bring up about a 3rd and 6 here for the Spartans.
Quick throw by Childs. Smart decision. Great play call.
Childs will take the snap after getting off quickly once again. Now he'll take off around the right side, has some room to run, trying to make some moves on the Wolverine defenders. And we've seen Childs use his legs quite a bit all season and certainly in this one, but he will be short of the line to gain there. It is 4th and 3, and you got to think Jonathan Smith is going to keep his offense out there with 8:30 to go here in the 4th.
Yeah, I mean, Mason Curtis is the safety there that comes down. He's the first guy to meet Childs. Great job to stop him short because that could have been a big first down for Michigan State. Sorry.
Childs ever so dangerous with his legs, but biggest play of the game here coming for the Spartans here at home in East Lansing. Childs will take the snap out of the shotgun with Brandon Tullis, and he'll take the snap, fake the handoff, gets it out quickly, and Jimmy Rolder is right there to bat that one down and deny the Spartans on 4th and 3.
Jimmy Rolder, such a great job. He has been so impressive today. He has been impressive all season, but especially today. He has made so many plays, 9 total tackles, leading tackler for the team, 1 sack early on in this one, has another TFL beyond that, had multiple pass breakups. He's hurried the quarterback. He has a fumble recovery. This kid can do it all, and he has been great today.
Rolder, such an impactful presence in that linebacking core. That time he's right there to stuff the Spartan offense on 4th down. They were moving the ball there once again, but Rolder, the instincts on the ball shining through right there. Looked like he may have even been able to get his hands under it to secure the interception, but either way, the ball will go back to the Wolverines.
Yeah, massive play. I mean, you have Childs again throwing to Velling. I'm assuming that Rolder had an idea that that's where it was going. He did a great job getting to Velling, getting to the ball, knocking it loose, and this is big. Michigan has a chance on offense here. If they can move the ball, get a couple first downs, they can sustain a drive, get it going for 4 or 5 minutes, they can feel great going into the rest of this game.
Yeah, the Spartans were definitely trying to catch the Wolverines off guard a couple times, sticking with that quick to the line, no huddle type of offense here as we come down to the home stretch of this one. But the Wolverines, aside from a couple of plays that led to first downs, they were not fooled or caught on their toes by that at all, which is huge for these guys, showing that maybe this long game being out there for as long as they have has not really made them gas. They are still just as hungry to get these big plays on defense.
Yeah, I mean, so another thing that we talked about earlier in this game is the run-heavy approach from both teams. I mean, we spoke about Michigan throwing the ball a lot in that first half. They have just 2 passing attempts in this second half. Obviously, you're playing with the lead, so you expect a couple more runs, but they have 38 total rushing attempts on the game. Michigan State has just 32. Frazier over 100 yards for Michigan State. You have 139 yards for Justice Haynes on the Michigan side. This has been a fun game to watch for the running backs. Mekhi Frazier has looked amazing. He had that big 49-yard carry. He has just been their bell cow for the most part. A couple 4-yard carries, and he's been good for this team.
Absolutely. And the rushing attack has been the really go-to strategy for both of these teams. Even the quarterback, Bryce Underwood, getting in the end zone on a run play, despite this not being the most eye-popping game we've seen from him through the air. But when you have a quarterback that can do it all like that, you definitely want to mix it up with the plays he has on the air and on the ground, through the air and on the ground. As Underwood will and the Wolverines offense will come back out now. He'll line up in the shotgun with Justice Haynes, 2 receivers out wide on each side. Now Marlon Klein will motion back in as Underwood will take the snap, give it straight up to Haynes, picking his way forward. Maybe a gain of about 1 there, as this clock will keep ticking down now under 8 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Justice Haynes has been given the fair share of the carries today. Jordan Marshall has 10, but Haynes has 24 so far in this one. So he's been getting the ball a lot. You got to give your guy the ball, and he's been good with those carries. So keep it moving, give him the ball, get this offensive line pushing again and pick up a couple first downs.
Underwood will now line up in the pistol. McCulley out wide on the left side. Channing Goodwin motions inside. Underwood will take the snap, give it up to Haynes, who tests the right side. Gallops past a couple of Spartan would-be tacklers.
There's a play on the sideline there.
Yeah, getting really chippy. Multiple flags flying as both these teams getting in each other's faces. Channing Goodwin getting into it with one of the Spartans down there. And the crowd certainly getting into it down here too.
Yeah,
we've talked about it a lot in this rivalry. You're always going to have these guys going at it, and it's spilling over onto the field here, manifesting itself late in the game.
Yeah, the flags seem to come on the far side, away from the ball. Joshua Eaton from Michigan State, the cornerback, had kind of thrown Andrew Marsh on the ground a little bit there. We're going to see what the referee calls.
So that'll be an unsportsmanlike conduct. That'll give a first down to the Wolverines as the off-ball action proves costly for Michigan State.
Yeah, you can't have those happen in a game like this, in a game that you are trying to come back in. Getting defensive penalties off the ball is just not what you need.
You said it, the play occurring quite far from where the football was, but that'll move the sticks for the Wolverines as they'll get out to midfield. Not exactly how they drew it up, but they will take it just the same, as Underwood will line up in the shotgun with Haynes. And he'll give it once again up to Haynes, who falls forward a little bit past midfield. Another short gain there for Justice Haynes. It'll bring up second down with 6:30 to go here in the fourth.
Yeah, I think Michigan fans have to be really happy with how this offensive line has performed in the second half. You see them responding after the first half, having some success on the ground, but them and the offensive line and Justice Haynes have done a great job in the second half, bringing it to the Michigan State Spartans.
Underwood once again out of the shotgun. He'll take the snap, fake the handoff, dancing around in the pocket. Now he'll try to take it himself, but not much of a hole there for him. I think he might have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage, and it'll bring up third down and 8 for the Wolverines. A little bit under 6 minutes to go here, and we'll get a stoppage in play here. It'll be a timeout taken by Jonathan Smith and the Spartans.
Yeah, on that last play, Underwood didn't really have much of anywhere to go. Kind of tries to dance around, as you said, but not much there. Great job from Michigan State to play good coverage, get Underwood down early on. That's what you want to see if you're a Spartans fan. If you're wanting to stay in this game, that one was by Buckley for Michigan State, the one making the stop on Underwood.
And Smith getting his guys back together to talk over this crucial third down play. You would have to think, should they get this one back, they will be moving even quicker than they have been on these last few possessions. But first, they got to get this stop, and the Wolverines just as eager to try to pick up the first down here.
Yeah, I'm interested to watch the play call here. We talked about how Michigan loves to run the ball. They even love to run the ball in third and long situations, but you'd have to imagine they go for the pass here. Looks like they have most of their pass catchers out there right now.
We will see how many, if they do pass it, we'll see how many air yards that pass gets, whether they want to just get a quick little dump off or throw past the sticks. We'll find out right now as Underwood getting up to the line, talking to his guys before the snap. As he'll line up out of the shotgun. Motions in Marlon Klein, takes the snap. It'll be a handoff to Justice Haynes, so Sharon Moore clearly did not listen to us and just sticks with the tried and true handoff as the Spartans actually stripped that ball out of Haynes' hands, and they think they came up with a turnover there. And the Spartans will get the forced fumble and take over right at midfield with less than just a little under 6 minutes to go. Wow, that is a huge change in the story of this game. We were talking about how they were eager to get a stop. that went just about as good as it could have for this Michigan State defense, and now their offense will come back out in great field position, looking to get back, looking to tighten this one up even further.
Yeah, as you said, huge play for the Michigan State defense, huge play for the team as a whole. That stop has been key in keeping them in this game. This gives the offense a chance to get on the ball, get the ball moving, and get this game down to a one score.
The Spartan defense rips it straight out of Justice Haynes' hands to give the ball back out to Aiden Childs and their offense, who takes the snap, rolling left in the pocket, finds an open Nick Marsh in the seam, who falls forward to make the catch, and he'll get out just past the 40-yard line of the Wolverines, and there goes that man again.
Yeah, Nick Marsh, yet another target, but yet another catch.
Childs will get up to the line quickly once again. He'll roll out right, looking downfield, and tight coverage down there on Omari Kelly, but the ball will be batted away.
That one's by Zeke Berry.
Yeah, Zeke Berry, a veteran of this Wolverine defense, making the play there to stop Omari Kelly, one-on-one coverage. And so both teams will get a little bit of a break in the action to get back centered here before this next snap, as Childs will come back out with Tao Tolliver lined up left to his left, bunched up with Nick Marsh all the way out wide on the right. Childs will take the snap and give it off on the draw play to Tao Tolliver. He'll get tripped up quickly by Ernest Hausman and TJ Metcalf. It'll bring up third down here for the Spartans with that clock ticking further and further, 5:10 to go. And they'll once again get back up to the line quickly. Childs will now motion Tao Tolliver behind him. He'll take the snap, gives it off to Tao Tolliver, who has a quick burst up the middle, and he is met quickly there by Kenneth Grant. And it will be 4th and 1 here for the Spartans, and they'll leave the offense right out there. They'll try to push it forward quickly, and the Wolverines are going to get the stand.
What a massive play from the Michigan defense coming up after the turnover, and looks to make the stop, force a turnover on downs. Referee is going to signal that way.
Absolutely an enormous play there for the Wolverine defense. Both these defenses making big plays here in the late stages of this one, but that one very impressive by that stifling Wolverine defensive front. The Spartans tried to get up to the line quickly to just get a quick sneak ahead, but they got driven back right away.
Yeah,
great on-ball tackling there by the Wolverines.
Yeah, you've seen multiple times in this game Aiden Childs on short yardage situations just jumping up the middle, kind of similar to that Eagles tush push, but maybe a little more of a QB sneak. They on that touchdown earlier, they ended up faking it, handing it off to Tullis, but on that play, Childs tries to go out to the left, and he is met by the Michigan defense. Great play.
So Underwood now and the Wolverines offense right back out there. Underwood will take the snap. It'll be a handoff churning straight up the middle through contact out to the 30, or just short of the 35-yard line. It'll be second down here. And I'm interested to see if the Wolverines are still interested in kind of being aggressive and attacking down the field here. 4.5 minutes to go. Obviously they want to protect the lead, but we'll see if they want to deliver a few knockout blows.
Yeah, I would imagine they're probably going to continue to run this ball. Michigan State with the timeout to try and stop it. The next play, if Michigan State calls timeout again, given Michigan retains the ball, it's going to bring the game down to about 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. Michigan's going to continue to run the ball, bring the clock down as much as possible. They don't want Michigan State to see the ball. As much as they trust their defense, they'd rather keep the offense on the field, give them control of the game.
The Wolverines looking to drain this clock down as much as they can and end this game in the best formation in football, the victory formation. They'll hope that this will be their last possession of the game if they can take it all the way down, maybe punching in as Underwood will take the snap. He'll give it ahead to Marshall, who had a little bit of a hole, but he'll be met quickly for a gain of about 3.
That one's going to put Michigan at about 3rd and 1
It's 3rd and 2 officially on the 37-yard line as the clock continues to run down.
Keeps it short enough for the team. Michigan State is going to elect to not use that timeout, so the clock will run down to close to 3:30 here. You're going to likely see yet another Michigan run. Here we go. We will see.
So it is Marshall in the backfield. We will see if he gets the call. Underwood will take the snap, and he will give it off to Marshall, who spins off a tackler, and it looks like he will have a first down.
Huge play for Michigan to get that first down. That is going to bring us to 3:30 left in this fourth quarter. They are draining the clock as they wanted to.
The Spartans once again electing not to use that timeout. Definitely a strong possibility on each of the last two plays that they could have called for a stoppage just to talk things over, give them a little bit more time to get the ball back. But instead, they'll elect to let the clock run down even further, just to about 3 minutes exactly to play here, as Underwood will take the snap and give it off to Marshall again, and bouncing off tacklers, he'll get a gain of about 2.
Michigan, that running game, hey, they may be running short now. They've had a couple short plays, 3-4 yards, but that's what you need to win a football game, is you need to run the ball even when it's not working perfectly. Running the ball gets it moving, gets the team going. It makes that offense feel good. That offensive line, when they're feeling successful, when they're pushing back the defense, it makes everyone feel good. It gets the team going. And we've talked about this a couple times. Michigan State does elect to use the timeout there.
Yep. Jonathan Smith burns their final timeout of the game, and definitely let a big chunk of time run off there for sure, but they'll leave just a little under 3 minutes here as the Wolverines still have possession on offense. And of course we got the 2-minute timeout coming up as well, so we'll see another stoppage and play there. But Underwood and the Wolverines offense get back out there. It is now Max Bredesen lined up to his right with Marshall behind the two of them, as Underwood will take the snap, gives it off once again to Marshall, who has a huge hole, breaks a tackle, and nobody's going to catch him. Jordan Marshall at the 10, the 5. He'll walk on in for a Michigan touchdown.
Jordan Marshall, huge play, broken tackle. Great job from the team. Marshall just keeps it moving, gets Michigan yet another score for this one.
The dagger coming from Jordan Marshall here in East Lansing. And you mentioned it earlier, we're really starting to see the stands clear out now. An explosive run there from Jordan Marshall, a lightning bolt, if you will. And that one really puts the dagger in the hearts of these Spartan fans who came into this game upset-minded against their bitter rival. But it looks like that will not be the case here today, as Zavada lines up for the extra point. And it is good. So it is up to a 31-13 lead here for the Wolverines, which is the exact same count by which they fell out in Los Angeles just 2 weeks ago.
Very true, very true. Marshall last week played phenomenal in the absence of Justice Haynes. He had 130 rushing yards against Washington, had the touchdown. He picks up another touchdown on the season right there. Big carry, big run, huge play for Michigan, and that, like you said, is likely the dagger in this one.
That tandem of running backs there for the Wolverines, Haynes and Marshall, both have the big playability that's always lurking there, and we have seen it bust loose multiple times this season, and we've seen it from both of them in this game as well. A tremendous day for this Wolverines rushing attack, as they will send it back out to the Spartans. And we've seen this all across college football, but a little bit of a section going on there in the corner for the Spartans with the shirts waving around. Even though they're down big in this one, the enthusiasm's still there as the kickoff is away. It is a short kick out to the 7-yard line where they will call for the fair catch.
officially on that last run for Jordan Marshall. That one is 56 yards. That puts him over 100 on the day. That is 2 rushers over 100 yards for Michigan and a total of 278 rushing yards. This rushing attack has gotten consistently better throughout the season. They've looked good all year. This is what you want to see. Like you said, this tandem is one of the best in college football, and they are showing it. They are showing that this team can move the ball on the ground.
So it is now Alessio Milivojevic coming in for the Spartans. He's seen a bit of significant game action so far as the flag comes out. Looks like it'll drive the Spartans back 5 with a false start, and it will. But Milivojevic checks into the game now. Aiden Childs' day is done. They want to let him rest his arm. But Milivojevic has certainly proven to be a very capable quarterback in his own right. Notched a touchdown pass, I believe, against UCLA. But he'll come out now and try to take the Spartans down to the finish line of this one. And more movement up front. It looks like it'll go against the Spartans once again, and that's got the Wolverines excited.
Yeah, seeing frustration from the Spartans at each other. Looking very upset. I mean, like we said, it was probably already the dagger on that last drive, but you never want to see the team fighting. That's never good for anyone. Offensive line kind of struggling there. I believe that one may have been on Connor Moore, the right tackle, who had been starting at left tackle previously.
Milivojevic checks into the game, and there are issues right away with getting the snap off as he'll take the snap now, gives it off to Tolliver, who is met quite quickly after getting a gain of about 4. As it looks like this one will run down very close to the 2-minute timeout, if not to it. Play clock and game clock lined up a little bit.
Likely going to see one more play here from Michigan State before that.
Milivojevic now will take the snap, looking to throw, fires toward the right side, and the catch is made along the sideline. Sliding out of bounds is Omari Kelly, where he'll have the first down.
Great ball from Milivojevic. There looks to be flags in the backfield. We'll see what this is. Looked to be near where the passer was.
I believe the Spartans have actually had more penalties called on them on this drive than they have had plays run. As we are still and that'll be a penalty on the Wolverines. So that one will move the chains for the Spartans even further, as the tackle out of bounds came a little late. And that'll move the Spartans out to their 41-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, so you spoke about the penalties earlier. 12 total penalties for Michigan State. It's not a good way to win a game when you're getting penalized.
2:05 left to play here in this one as Milivojevic will take the snap, looking over the middle of the whole way. Now he's flushed out right, being chased, and he'll scoot out of bounds just to avoid the hit. He'll get a gain of about 2, as that will bring us to the 2-minute timeout with 1:58 left to play here at Spartan Stadium here in East Lansing.
Sorry, I was watching Jimmy Roller on the sideline there. He kind of tripped up going after Milivojevic and kind of struggled to get up. Looks like he's limping a little bit off the field. I hope he's okay. That's a big player for this Michigan defense. You never want to see an injury, especially one late in a game.
We saw Sullivan go down in the first half, and now Rolder, who has had a massive impact in this game, filling in that coverage linebacker role. Definitely hope that is nothing too serious. But we're at the 2-minute timeout now. Looking ahead here for both of these teams, the Wolverines will come back to Ann Arbor next week to take on the Purdue Boilermakers. And then they've got their second bye week of the season. After that, they'll head to Wrigley Field to take on the Northwestern Wildcats. And they will remain on the road the next week to take on the Maryland Terrapins before coming back for the showdown we're all looking forward to against Ohio State on November 29th. But this, the first of their 2 big rivalry games of the season, and they have certainly gotten the job done here on the road. So they will be looking to carry the momentum here from this one, getting back on a little bit of a win streak now. 2 dominant wins here in these last 2 games, where the defense has looked outstanding. The offense has really been able to move the ball well as well, especially in the second half. So definitely the Wolverines coming in with a lot of steam here as we enter the final month of the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, this second half offense, it's been the story of the team. It's been the story of the day. 191 rushing yards in the second half alone. Just 27 passing yards. The Wolverines are yet to attempt a pass in the fourth quarter. They only had 2 in the third. They decided, let's rely on that ground game. We know we can run the ball. We know that Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall can take us home. Let's give them the ball. Let's let it happen. It's looked great from the offense, and they've done a great job. And you spoke about Michigan looking forward. Let's speak a little bit about Michigan State, the rest of their season. Next week, they are at Minnesota, and then they have their bye the next week as well. Then they will be playing home versus Penn State. Then they will be at Iowa, and finally they will end their season in Ford Field against Maryland.
So Milivojevic now leading out the offense here for one last drive, as they're looking to get a little bit of a consolation score here with 1:58 to go here in the fourth quarter. As the Let's Go Blue chants can be heard here from the section just in front of us as Milivojevic takes the snap, pressured right away from Derek Moore, and he'll swallow him up. The Wolverines pass rush relentless all night long, and they'll get home one more time, this time on the backup quarterback, Alessio Milivojevic.
Yeah, that was a great play from both Benny and Derek Moore to get back through there. That will be the 4th sack of the game, possibly even the 5th. Great play from the team. That's huge.
Backs the Spartans all the way up to 3rd and 16 on their yard line, as Milivojevic will take the snap. Back to throw. Pressure's coming from both sides. He'll be chased down from behind by Moore once again.
That will be Derek Moore's 3rd sack today.
He has been a force in the backfield all day long.
Looks to be a flag somewhere in the secondary near the first down markers.
And that'll be
defensive holding.
That'll be defensive holding called on the Wolverines. They're going to get, for that one, they're going to get Shamari Earls, who is the freshman cornerback from Richmond, Virginia, getting a little bit of time here in the late stages, but gives up that penalty, which will give the Spartans a new set of downs. So Milivojevic now will line up in the shotgun, two receivers out wide left, one on the right is Omari Kelly, as Milivojevic will take the snap looking left the whole way, gets it out on the slant to Nick Marsh, and he'll get out to midfield.
That will bring us under 1 minute left to play in this fourth quarter. Nick Marsh with another catch. He has so many targets today, but he's been a great player.
Milivojevic will get up quickly, takes the snap, flushed out right, lobs one deep, and the pass is broken up down there. That is Earls again making the play, getting a little bit of redemption from the holding call, working on Omari Kelly. But that will stop the clock here with 44 seconds left to go.
Great job by Earls. Great job in coverage on top of Omari Kelly there. Would have been a big play. Good job to get there. Stop them short. Not allow that first out.
3rd down and 6 here for the Spartans at the 47-yard line of the Wolverines. As Milivojevic will take the snap. Looking left again. Has a man open over the middle. Krishan McCray breaks 2 tackles, spinning away, and he'll be brought down at the 32-yard line with a fresh set of downs for the Spartans.
McCray, the Kent State transfer, that is a shifty guy right there. Breaks 2 tackles early on. Might have even broken a 3rd late on that one. Great job from him.
Milivojevic up quickly. A lot of time in the pocket. Now a fire toward the right side on the crossing route. Pass is caught by Tau Tolliver out of the backfield. He'll be stopped quickly As the clock continues to run down, they'll try to get up to the line quickly to run another play here before time runs out, and Milivojevic will spike the ball to stop the clock with 13 seconds remaining.
That last play there, that was Elijah Dotson, the true freshman, stopping him in tandem with Ernest Hausman, the veteran linebacker.
Crowd airing out their frustrations toward the field now. It has certainly been a frustrating night for the Spartan faithful.
As you said a couple minutes ago, lots of maize and blue left in the stadium, not a whole lot of green and white.
As the Wolverines will get called for 12 men on defense, so a couple of penalties here keeping this last drive of the game alive for Michigan State. But another costly penalty there.
Milivojevic, 4 for 5 on this drive so far, 39 yards. You know, he can really spin the ball. This kid came in as the redshirt freshman and seen this game action. He's made the most of it.
Spartans trying to get one last score here before time expires. Just 13 seconds left to go here in this ball game. Milivojevic will get back up to the line in the shotgun. 2 receivers out wide to the left. He'll fake the handoff, stepping up in the pocket, firing toward the end zone. The pass is caught, and into the end zone for the touchdown goes the tight end. The tight end, Michael Masunas, gets one last score here for the Spartans as the smoke cannons and the fireworks go off once again. The shirtless section's got to be happy about that one.
Troy Bowl is the one in coverage there. Great ball from Milivojevic. Great job from Masunas to get in the end zone. And, yeah, Michigan State will bring this
They'll
up.
send Martin Connington out there for the extra point. A very crisp and efficient drive there for this Spartan offense. A couple of penalties by the Wolverines move them forward, and as the extra point is good. And so that'll bring our score to 31-20 now, with 7 seconds to go. And we'll see if the Spartans will now try an onside kick, as we thought they may have done earlier on in the game. But you got to think now they may be trying to do that to get one more possession back.
Yeah, we'll see what they do here. 7 seconds left, down 11. I don't know that there's any miracle that can truly win you that game. So they may just kick it deep and let the Wolverines go into victory formation. We'll find out. But, I mean, we've talked about it ad nauseum today. It's a rivalry game. You never know. Maybe they do try to go for the onside, rub some salt in the wound, even though the Wolverines will likely be the ones going back to Ann Arbor happy with this turnout.
So both teams back out onto the field now. And, yeah, you mentioned the Wolverines looking to have the hour-long drive back to Ann Arbor, happy with their performance today. They dominated on the ground all game long, and they'll be certainly looking to take that momentum into next week as they head back home. And they will try the onside kick. Bounces off of Bredesen, and they'll fall on it at around the 46-yard line. That took 2 seconds off the clock. So Underwood in the offense. It may not be Underwood, actually. They may send potentially Jaden Davis out there to kneel this one out and put the finishing touches here on this win over their heated rival, the Michigan State.
Quarterback kneel there, that victory formation. You see Bryce Underwood, Samaj Morgan, and Jordan Marshall all with the backflips to seal off this win.
Yep. The Wolverines, always exciting to beat such a heated rival, no matter the record, as we talked about earlier. But this was a very strong performance for the Wolverines, especially really exploding in the second half. 21 points, all on the ground. All of their touchdowns, as a matter of fact, came on the ground today, courtesy of Underwood, Haynes, and Marshall. And This Wolverine offense continues to roll. Defense very strong today. But they will head home to Ann Arbor happy with this win.
Glad to see a lot of the opposing players seeming to shake hands. I like to see the friendliness surrounding the game. You never want to see the problems that have surrounded this game in the past. You want to see the love between the two fierce competitors. Obviously, they're trying to win the game. Everyone's competitive out there, but it is always nice to be able to shake hands at the end of it.
So once again, the final score here for the Wolverines, a win by 31-20, as bench is clearing out, the stands clearing out here at Spartan Stadium. It has been a pleasure taking you through this one. For Gavin Briggs, I am Zack Schteingart. We'll leave you as we always do